late night stream. It's not
We
really that
doing it?
late. It's
Are we doing it
9:30.
live?
Are we doing it live? We're doing it live. Let's do it
Do
live.
it live. No.
We might as well do it live. We might as well. Here's the thing, right? Kyrie Irving asking out in a trade to the Brooklyn Nets, says he will not stick around. Question on the table: should the Chicago Bulls look to trade for Kyrie Irving? Let's talk about all that and more starting now. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk, man. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, joined by pettiest man alive, Mr. P.kidd. Y'all know he's been waiting for this day. He's the Kyrie stan, our resident Kyrie stan in the building. Let's just jump right into it, man. I mean, Kyrie Irving asking for a trade out of Brooklyn. Listen, I think, rightfully so. I don't respect the Brooklyn Nets organization as a whole. I think Joe Tsai is kind of garbage as an owner. And I think that, there's a lot of things that Kyrie has done that deservedly so he deserves backlash for. But I also think that there are a lot of things that the Brooklyn Nets have taken way too far. You're not going to make a grown man beg for his job to try and get him back, get him back in the building. But the question on the table: should the Bulls be interested in taking a look at Kyrie Irving? Should they trade for Kyrie Irving? What does he add to the team? Let's break all that down and more. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. Kid, what are your thoughts on this? Even though most of us already know the answer from you.
Man, of course they should be legal into it. Excuse me, I almost had a stroke there. Hold on.
I thought you was choked up about it. I thought you was that in love with Kyrie.
They have Acme has to do their due diligence, obviously. But I'm going to steal something from Stephen A. You can't say this man is box office worth $50 million a year and not expect to come off with a king's ransom for it. If everyone's looking at the max contract that he is absolutely deserving of, if you want to sit there and say, well, look at all the things in that nature, look at all the distractions and things of that nature, I'm going to sit here and say this: stop sitting there riding with these narratives just because it's easy. Some people are easy to pick on. A lot of what happened at Brooklyn is absolutely due to the Brooklyn Nets organization.
Kyrie brought some stuff on himself too. Let's not act like Kyrie's.
I'm not going to sit there and absolve him from everything, but when it comes down to his ability to play, his availability to play, especially during COVID, that was a Brooklyn Nets decision. Did you know that there was a 30% of the league wasn't vaccinated at the time? Did you know the majority of those players were able to play in Brooklyn?
Yeah, the law didn't apply to them. The law applied to people to get their W-2 in the state of Brooklyn.
Do you also know that there were stipulations that New York put on later, but for a good 2 months, it was strictly a Brooklyn Nets decision.
That is
not allow Kyrie Irving into the facility.
That is facts. But in the beginning, let's bring in the part that applies to Kyrie. The reason that players could come in and play was because they don't get paid in the state of Brooklyn. That law only applied to Brooklyn employees. Kyrie Irving at the moment was a Brooklyn employee. The second part, yes, they made it so that Kyrie Irving should have been able to play. The Brooklyn Nets made a conscious decision to not bring
the one happened before the other. That's the part that everyone leaves out. That's the narrative that gets pushed online. And I did my research. The narrative that gets pushed online. It's 2 whole months. And guess what? That thing wasn't there. That stipulation wasn't there for the city or the state of New York. It was not there. It came later. Now here's the thing.
Well documented.
The reason it came later is because, and what leads to it, and we're not going to get too much on that part, because that's going to lead into a whole different conversation. But here's the point. A lot of people stick to these particular narratives, and totally absolve the Nets organization and put everything on Kyrie and say, well, how can you trust him and how can you play him? And then if you remove that, they say, well, he's never healthy. We just gave somebody who's played nearly the same amount of games since 2014, $215 million. I don't want to hear about he's never healthy. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but Kyrie,
I don't want to hear about
215.
You say that again?
It's like Kyrie Irving wouldn't be here on a contract worth 215.
No,
you know what I mean? Kyrie Irving
less. It'd be 198. And if he gets traded, they can't even. You wouldn't. His contract is stipulated, so you can't even extend him the same way.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be 198. if he gets traded. He wouldn't get 198.
I don't disagree with you. I think the thing is, for me, right, if the Chicago Bulls are looking to trade with Kyrie's story aside, right, my issue is always, what are you doing on the basketball court? It's not about Kyrie being hurt. It's about when Kyrie gets hurt. And when Kyrie has gotten hurt has been when teams have needed him most. That whether that's any fault of his, it's not a fault of his, right? One year Giannis steps under him very questionably, which he still kind of continues to do, and everybody kind of overlooks that because he's really talented. The 1 year Giannis steps under him, right? The 1 year he had a wire sticking out of his knee that caused him to not be able to play, like a bunch of different things. But my issue around Kyrie Irving being traded to the Bulls, I love the player. I think there's not many players better than Kyrie Irving in the NBA right now. There's just not, right? Like
15 players better than Kyrie.
When he's on the court, man, did you see that list, by the way, where they had 18 players better than Damian Lillard? I was a little thrown off by that as well. But
no.
But it's not, right? Like I would love to see Kyrie here. My question, outside of everything else, though, for me, I'm throwing the COVID issue out. It was COVID. Everybody had issues with whatever it was. I'm throwing out him taking a sabbatical during race riots in the streets in America. Weird time, throwing that with I'm talking about.
Go to the win. Okay, give it to me straight. What you talking about?
I'm talking about play on the court in Cleveland. The one time he was healthy for an NBA Finals, credit to him, he won it. But he missed that entire series up to that. And the reason a lot of people talk about, and you always have an issue with it, they always talk about Kyrie Irving was on the same level as LeBron, or you always talk about Kyrie Irving was on the same level as LeBron in those finals. Yes, he was. But those finals don't happen if LeBron don't carry that team on his back. Because Kevin Love was looking cheeks that whole playoff series until the finals when Kyrie came back and took some of the pressure off his back. My issue is, are you going to be there when we need you most? The same issue I've got with Zach LaVine. The same issue, right? Like me and you have talked about paying Zach LaVine. You couldn't not pay Zach. Again, this first regime of AK, whether we like it or not, it was about resetting how people look at the Chicago Bulls. You couldn't look at Zach LaVine and say, we're not going to bring you back because you don't deserve this money. Because then all the players around the NBA would be like, man, he stayed there for 6 years through the crap. And when y'all finally get good, y'all not going to pay him. I don't want to be a part of that organization. That's what paying Zach LaVine is about. I need Bulls fans to understand this. I like Kyrie, the player. Kyrie, the player, is absolutely trade worthy. As Stephen A. Smith says, he is worth every single penny he deserves. Will he be there at the end of the season? That's all I care about.
You know what? I get you. The funny thing is, the same person we played, no matter what the reasons were, we still paid him. We still have that same issue. I like Zach. I've always said that I think Zach will be the best between the two of him and Devin Booker, because I thought these were the next two guards up. I've always felt like he had more grit to him and he just had more to prove. And I thought he had a tougher road, and I liked his story. So I've always hitched my wagon to Zach. But at times, Zach has sat there and failed us. That time as Zach has sat there and totally let us down, and not to put it all on him, Acme didn't necessarily incubate that situation in the best way. Acme didn't incubate that situation in a way that will actually allow Zach to grow into the player he needs to be, to the point where now we're having that conversation as to who's doing what, who takes the shots, and this, that, and the other, because him and DeMar do the same thing. Like, we have to understand that it's a lot of things that go into it. But I get it. I totally get it. When it comes to Kyrie, though, like you just mentioned, there's not 15 players better than Kyrie.
No, there's not.
If you have a healthy Kyrie on the other end of your team, across the court, and you see Kyrie and you see just 4 other competent people, there's a chance you might lose that game. Now, because he's a guard, the takeover don't look the same. The takeover don't look the same. It don't look Steph worthy, because Steph has a whole organization and scheme that's built for him. So he doesn't have the same incubated situation there either. But you always know that, hey, I got a chance because this dude can give me 40 easy.
See,
easy. Do it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
If you are the Chicago Bulls, you're missing 2 things. You're missing good point guard play. Right now, is Kyrie a pass first point guard? No, but he's a playmaker for sure. And we've seen him be able to run that point guard position and be willing to sit there and absolutely not take the shots to allow other people to shine. How do we know? He's played with stars most of his career. He's playing with KD. Do you think he's taking more shots than KD? No, but him and KD absolutely share that responsibility. And when other people are cooking, who is getting them that rock? 9 times out of 10 is Kyrie Irving. If you look at the last 10 games he just played, you can see how the wealth is distributed. There's times where he has to give you
Curry
a
be passing that a lot.
Hey,
Seth Curry and Ben Simmons do a lot of the passing.
No, Steph Curry do a lot of missing. I be watching them games. I be watching them games. Listen, if you look at those games, especially his last 10, and you just watch them, if you watch them, you sit there and you say, hey, this offense flows good, and Kyrie's not forcing the issue. But when he gets cooking, oh man, it's an avalanche waiting to happen. It just gets to rolling. Guess what? We don't have people like that on our team who has that balance. DeMar doesn't have that balance. When it gets rolling with DeMar, you just might as well call it a day.
Even that I don't agree with, right? I think I don't know if I'd say we've hindered him, but the person for me is Zach LaVine, right? Like that's the guy that has that balance. Zach don't have no problems taking 12 shots in a game, right? Like I think we look at Zach and we say you're now the highest paid player on the team. That means you need to be putting up 35 points a night. I'm with you on that. He's a scorer. He actually absolutely should be scoring better.
Who needs to be scoring 35 points a night?
Zach LaVine. He should. Like he should.
I'm not trying to disrespect you, but there's some fans that actually believe that, and that's just idiotic. Now that's idiotic.
Here's the thing. He should be getting. I'm 35 points now. Okay, that's right. He should be getting his average. He should be able to score 25.
He should be 25.
He should be 25 points a night, right? And here's the thing for me. He should be 25 to 30. And here's the thing to me. When I'm looking at having a player like that on this team, we kill him for being that player. Zach LaVine over the last 2 games, you know what people have said? Man, his shot's been off. He's been terrible. Zach LaVine has facilitated amazingly. He's rebounded the ball really well. Played some
other ways to be effective.
Really good defense. There's not a lot of players that find ways to be effective outside of, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how I score. And so the thing for me is, right, like I think we have a player like that on our team. The problem is that DeMar plays a similar position that he does and operates a lot of that space. You got to figure out how to make that work. I think the one thing that I look at with where the Bulls are right now is that DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine seemed to work when there was a point guard in there. And the biggest question for me is, does Kyrie fix that? Or does Kyrie add another score? Because you're going to have to move probably one of them to make a deal with Kyrie work, right? You're probably moving DeMar in that sense or something like that. And a bunch of trade capital, but you're moving a ton of stuff to get Kyrie Irving here. And for me, right, like I love Kyrie. I would love for Kyrie to be here, but the fact that the stipulation is trade me or I walk at the end of the year tells me exactly that Kyrie probably isn't going to get traded to a team he wants to go to, which means that he'll probably walk at the end of the year anyway. I'm willing to have a conversation with Kyrie at that point. I think the one thing that you need to be looking for right now, and peep game on this, because here's the interesting thing. The Kyrie situation is what it is. I think that you got to investigate. If AK is not at least on the phone, right, we got the wrong guy. That's what we can all agree on. If AK is at least not like, what y'all thinking about for him? We got the wrong guy.
Mm-hmm.
What's KD doing?
That's my
question now. KD is praised.
I gotta pull back from that. I can't even think about KD, because to get KD for what he's worth. Now, here's the thing: KD is worth more than just what he puts up on the court. You have to understand that he's also locked in with he doesn't have a no trade clause anymore.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, this contract now becomes super valuable, because now I have arguably the top 5 player in the NBA for sure when he's on the floor. He's also increased his defensive statistics. He's actually having one of the best seasons of his career at this point. And still all of that's going to come with a king's ransom. The Bulls can't afford that and be competent. You can't sit there and have that conversation.
I'm not saying
here's why I sit there and say no.
I'm not saying
I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you cook, but here's why I say no. I say no because ultimately we are 1, maybe 2 pieces away from being serious contenders within this Eastern Conference. And when you have an opportunity to get a talent like Kyrie Irving at a low asking price, the chips for him are low. The Nets already know it. There's no real market for Kyrie outside of, a few teams that can absolutely, like, you think, there's 4 teams right now who've potentially thrown their name in a hat, and that's the Lakers, of course. We already know where that's going. It's been Dallas, and there's been some talks of the Bulls maybe having the pieces, and I forgot in Miami, right? So we already know Miami is not going to work out. We already know the Lakers could do it, but do they want to have Russ and Ben on the same team? That's not going to work out. And does KD want to be on the same roster with Russ again? Whole different story. The Dallas thing is interesting. The one team that they keep bringing up, and they keep saying it on the sly, like yeah, maybe, is the Chicago Bulls. Why? Because we do have two people that we can trade. We do have three legitimate stars on our team, but 3 former All-Stars if you look at it. And if you want to really be serious, and I haven't fact check this completely, right? So this could be a little off. There's some stipulations in Kyrie's contract that I could be off on, but from a numbers perspective, this trade clears, and it solves 2 major things for us. It solves the simple fact that we then allow Zach to play his natural position. He now gets to feel that same void that DeMar feels. We get someone in Kyrie Irving who can do exactly what Kobe White's do 10 times better, can facilitate if we need him to. He can sit there and be that switch army knife at the point guard position. Now everyone kind of shifts back into their natural role, and we don't give up a ton for it. This has checked out, and I've checked it multiple times, but I haven't got a chance to do it on that fanspo thing that you sent me, which is what I was trying to do before we got here. But seriously, that checks out. And when we sit there and we look at how the game is played with DeMar, Zach, and everyone else on the floor, and we see the different dead spots that end up there, we've been talking about this before Kyrie even said, I want to be traded. We've already been talking about DeMar not being a Bull simply because they've already paid Zach and they're going to ride with the younger guy. We've already had these conversations. It's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched.
I think,
and if you look at it, why would it be attractive to the Nets? Because they get one of the criteria that they have for trading for Kyrie in the first place. They wanted a star back. He's an all-star. He's 2-time all-star last 2 years. Numbers kind of add up. And guess what? If you can use him to convince KD to stay, there you go. You needed someone else who was a little better in their shooting. Kobe White, maybe not the best for us, but if you look at the Nets roster, he would fit.
Here's the thing.
And the money would clear.
Here's the thing for me with it. That's not the best trade package on the table. And that's why it won't happen, right? Like that, it's not the best trade package that's available out there for him, right? If anything, right, you have to also take it to the fact, if you trade this season, trade away Kyrie,
hey Pat, you bring the same thing I'm doing.
What? Yeah. When you see Baki say check Twitter, you got to check Twitter, bro. You know what I mean? When you see Baki check Twitter.
Why he put up the same trade? I just thought, hey, Baki, you know I had that thing worked up earlier today.
Oh, that's funny. He literally put up, yeah, he did. Here's the thing, though, right? Like, why would I make that trade when I can go to the Lakers and say, listen, we'll send you this in cash considerations. We'll send you Kyrie in cash considerations. I want your second round pick, or I want your first round picks. Because at this point, you're resetting. Kevin Durant's not going to stick around with this team. So you're resetting. You need to reset through the draft. You've got 2 young players on your team already that me and you have both felt really good about, right? Bruce Brown on that team, Nick Claxton on that team, right? Now at this point, you have to just try and get some vets in there and go young. You have they don't have an option in this. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to bring back the Paul Pierce Brooklyn Nets? That's the next, because that's the iteration that the trades that teams are going to be able to make are going to bring in. Every team that is talking about trading with them only has capital to trade outside of the Chicago Bulls and older players, right? If I'm talking to Dallas, who's Dallas going to send? They're not sending Luka.
No,
they're not sending
their
Luka.
trade was Dorian Finney, Dorian and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith.
I think they had a pick there. And I'll be honest with you, that doesn't look nearly as attractive as a trade that we can offer.
Hey, it doesn't. That's trash, right? So Miami's is they can offer picks. They arguably can send probably the best players out of it because they would have to send at least you got to send Duncan Robinson at a minimum, right? And then you're probably talking about possibly, maybe Tyler Hero. You know what I mean? I don't know what the package would be. I haven't looked at that package per se, but they're sending some draft capital back with that. At least then you're getting players back in that you can be like, okay, I got a legit player here. or Duncan Robinson. I don't know which Duncan Robinson is going to show up. I got some picks. Okay, I can work with this. I still have Kevin Durant. We can make something happen here. I'm gonna trade him away and get some stuff back, right? And I love the idea that you said earlier, Kevin Durant possibly back to OKC. Listen, you might as well trade for him. KD's just out here hooping at this point. I would love to see him and Shea hooping together. That would be amazing. Let's see if we can get that going. He's the one you probably have to trade. But I think the thing is, right, like, there's only one package to me that makes sense if you're
I want to ask you something real quick, because I want to make sure I'm understanding where you're coming from. You're saying that the Nets wouldn't make that trade for DeMar or Kobe. You're saying the Nets wouldn't make that trade?
I'm saying
or the Bulls wouldn't make. Now, if you said the Bulls wouldn't make that trade, I can understand where you're coming from. If you say the Nets wouldn't make it, I got 10 reasons why you're wrong.
No, I'm saying that the Brooklyn Nets at this point are in a situation. You got to think about everything that happened this year. KD asked out. Whole situation with Kyrie. KD comes back. This all started before KD asked out. Kyrie asked out. Kyrie was like, it ain't gonna work that well. I'm gonna ass back in, right? Like, so you clearly see they don't want to be there. They Magic Johnson in this thing right now. I'm not gonna be here. So the biggest, you got to be an NBA fan to get that clip. I'm not gonna be here. And hearing him talk about
ugliest face too.
Hey, bro, hearing him talk about that moment is the greatest thing of all time. You know why he said that? Because they wouldn't let him fire Frank Vogel. And so when he said that, he said, I'll have the autonomy to make decisions. I'm going to get up out of here. And so he literally just said, I'm going to quit, and walked out that day and told the press, it's like, I'm not going to be here. But the biggest thing to me, right, is that Kevin Durant's probably not going to be there. Kyrie Irving's not going to be there. It's time for you to go young. At this point, it's time for you to reset your franchise. That seems like the only logical thing to do. Now, we are talking about the Nets. They don't have to be logical. But for me, I get Russ in here. He's not staying. He only has a half a year left on this contract, or he's saying he's staying for such minimal money that, like, it doesn't matter. You're basically washing your hands of Russ for the rest of this season. You get those 2 first-round picks. Okay, LeBron, you get Kyrie. Go out there, try and win you a championship out west with Kyrie, you, and AD. I hope y'all have success. Now I'm talking about, okay, let's keep resetting. We're moving Kevin Durant because he didn't want to be here anyway. He came back because all of a sudden Kyrie opted back in. So now I guess we got to, hey, let's try and run this thing. They finally start running a little bit. Now Kyrie wants out. All right, now it's time to start moving on from KD. Because at this point, now you've had 2 injuries with KD in a Nets jersey. He still has amazing value, and you have to get the most that you can for him right now. If you don't, it's idiotic to just try and be like, okay, we're just going to put dudes with KD and see if we can win a bunch of games.
I hear you, Pat, but you know what, one thing I don't hear? Why I would do it if I'm Joe Tsai. At the end of the day, I don't have to. And you have to play. And you get paid to play. And this is the part of the game that people don't like to acknowledge. Guess what? KD gets paid to play. That's his product on the floor. He gets paid to do that. I don't have to listen to you sitting there saying, I don't want to be here. I don't have to. This is the contract that you signed. You knew the risk coming into it. That's the game I can play with KD. Now, I'm not saying it's a smart move. But I've also seen the Bulls organization do that with the GOAT. So at this point, guess what? He ain't above it. I've also seen Jenny Buss say, hey, LeBron, I hear what you're saying, but you chose that. Eat it. Hey, if you all think that these owners are going to sit here and acquiesce to these players continuously, you out your mind. Guess what? There is no power struggle here. You get paid to do this. Now, here's the thing.
And that's why he won't have players there that are stars already. He even said it himself. He wants players that are going to be there every night and play.
And want to play. Now, here's the thing. Here's why.
KD, let's not make it seem like KD don't be there either.
No, I'm not making it seem like KD doesn't have power. I'm not trying to make it seem like what I am trying to say is if KD tried to force his way out, that is going to be a lot uglier than Kyrie saying I want to be traded by February 9th.
I don't think
it's going to be a
KD
lot
trying
of
to force his way
because
out.
it's too much. It's too much on the table, and he's too valuable, and they've committed to him already. He's already signed his long-term contract. Guess what? Just because I didn't pay your boy, then you're gonna leave? Nah, that's not how that's gonna work. I see you in the next jersey next season.
It's
Anyway,
not even
like
about KD wanting out. It's just about what's smart for your team. KD wants out whether KD's going to be there or not. The smart thing for your team is not to run it back with a bunch of dudes in KD.
the smart thing for your team is to get rid of what you consider a cancer. They consider Kyrie not to be worth it. That's why they put their bogus stipulation in it. Which again, before we go any further,
Man, that was wild. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
want to sit there and address why we're even having this conversation, because the stipulation that was reported that they put on Kyrie's extension was a championship.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never heard it.
Hey, bro, that's wild.
I've never heard it.
Actually, I have heard it before. I can't think of the player. I gotta find it, but I have heard it before. But I can't think of the player right now. I have heard it before where it was a, hey, if you don't win this ring, we're destroying everything that's happening here. I have heard that before, but I don't remember the player off of the
That
top.
must have been before our time, or while we was Jordan.
It's 90s for sure.
It's 90s for sure. Guess what?
Yeah.
Different time, wild time. Guess what? We're
It was wild in the
2023, right?
Hey,
We're in 2023.
championship, cocaine.
Hey, you want your $50 million a year? I got you. Hey, you see that ring right there? Yeah, that we almost had. I want you to bring it home. Like he can't guarantee that. What if KD doesn't come back?
Yeah,
you got Ben Simmons collecting $41 million. He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
that man faked the knee injury. They had him do an MRI. They says nothing wrong with the knee.
Yeah.
Right? You can't put those stipulations on that contract and expect that player to sit there and take that. And at the same time, the fan base, the media outlets and stuff like that, you can't sit there and scream how idiotic it is for Kyrie to want to trade, but then whisper why the hell he wants one. You can't do that. Because ever since that report came out, I didn't see Stephen A go back on Alive and say that was idiotic of them to do. I didn't see him recant those statements. And Stephen A would talk out the side of his neck a couple of times and sit there and talk louder than the other person and say, well, I never said that. No, you're on tape. You've said a couple of things that you've tried to backtrack, and people just say it because you Stephen A. I don't care. I'm gonna be petty for the rest. I'm gonna be petty Casanova for the rest of my career. I don't care. You ain't gonna overtalk me. You can't do that. So at this point, if you're going to be forced with a situation where, hey, this dude may not play, he's a cancer, I want to get rid of him. I want to make the move that I can lock in a productive all-star for at least another year to potentially appease my generational talent and keep my core together so that we can potentially compete for a championship because we're fourth in the freaking East. The Bulls are the only team that can give him that.
For what? For
the Bulls are the only team out of the teams listed that can give you an all-star that's locked in for another year.
Yep.
That could potentially appease your star player and keep you in the hunt for a championship this season and potentially next. The Bulls are the only team that does that. Do you really believe that Russell Westbrook is going to go to the Nets and all of a sudden become, again, the Russell Westbrook of old?
Yes and no. I don't think he'll shoot anywhere near what he used to, but I do think he'll be able to facilitate wise, the facilitating part.
Oh no, wait. You said what? You said for sure?
I said no. I said yes and no. I said, where you get for sure from? This is what I be talking about with kids. First off, either turn the speakers up or get some headphones. I said yes and no. I said that he won't be the scorer that he once was. That'll never come back, probably, right? Because for some reason, he's fallen in love with his bank shot. I don't know what that bank shot is, but for some reason, Russ is taking that every chance he gets. I don't know. Bro, he does, bro. I've seen him in practicing this shot.
But I never see him practice that shot though, bro.
Bro, I've seen him in practicing this shot, bro. Because I was like, bro, do he really he just be shooting this mud, bro? Like you ain't figured out the backboard yet. But I think here's the thing at the end of the day. By the way, if y'all are in here right now, hit that like button, man. Appreciate everybody showing love. It's 10 o'clock at night. We got 130 people up in this mug, man. Appreciate y'all showing love. Hit the like button, show some support to the channel, man. Here's the thing that I'm saying. To me, reset's the only option for the Nets. You're not winning a championship if DeMar DeRozan comes there. You're not winning a championship if Russell Westbrook comes there. You're not winning a championship if Tyler Hero comes there. At the end of the day, they barely have enough talent on the team around the two superstars that they have right now to compete against the top teams in the East. Milwaukee blew the doors off of them. Boston blew the doors off of Boston blew the doors off of them. The Bulls blew the doors off of them. You know what I mean? And so that's telling me, hey, we ain't got it right here. This is fun to watch. It's fun to talk about, but we ain't got it. So now you got to talk about, okay, how do we get to a point where we have it again? You're either resetting through the draft, you're trying to find young players. Like I said, that trade you were talking about with trading him back to OKC, he doesn't have an NTC. But you know what I get in OKC? I get a bunch of young dudes. Or you know where I send them? Houston. Hey, what's Alperen Sengun doing? Y'all want to reset y'all franchise for real? What's Sengun got going on? I need y'all to find some money so that we can make this deal work. Send me a bunch of draft picks and a bunch of young players because I need to reset my entire franchise. This is what happens when you try to buy a championship. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't shock me. It's fun to see. Cool. Hey, it was a great 1-year run. But buying championships does not work. It has never worked in the NBA. There's been some form of development that they then put a piece onto.
I mean, the Lakers bought that championship.
Yeah,
they bought that championship.
I can't say never, but
listen,
very rarely.
The Warriors, them two with KD, they bought that championship. It's like,
nah, I think they're still competing for a championship, right? Like you're not guaranteed to win every championship. It's just about competing for one. If you win one, shout out to you. You're great. You're one of the most dominant team in the NBA. But the fact is, right, like your goal every year is to build a team that can compete for a championship. Then you got to go out there and get it. Like, because now it's just mano a mano, you're that team against this team. The Nets aren't competing for a championship. I don't care if Kyrie's here. I don't care if KD's here. It's fun to watch them play together. I think they're two of the best scorers in the NBA right now. They're not winning. They don't have enough. When it comes down to the nitty gritty and I get to play you 7 times, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to expose Nick Claxton. I'm going to expose Seth Curry. I can't expose Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but I got enough on my team in Boston to expose all of the rest of y'all. And I think that's where this team is at, right? Like the Brooklyn Nets aren't in a different situation than the Chicago Bulls are in. They just got better players.
Which matters.
No, it does, 100%. But the thing is, right,
the players
we talked about all season
decide the series.
No, 100%. But what have we talked about all season?
There's only one team that can knock them off definitively, and that's the Boston Celtics. They run into the Boston Celtics. That's a matchup made, and that's complete hell for them. No, that matchup doesn't work.
Boston Celtics.
It's only 3 teams that match up with the Celtics. I don't want to see them first round of the playoffs.
I'm going to tell you this right now. It's a lot of teams below the Brooklyn Nets that they don't want to see. The Brooklyn Nets don't want to see the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Brooklyn Nets.
Nah, they're going to smack them at the crib.
Nah, they don't want to see the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know why? Because size is Brooklyn's problem. Their biggest dude is Kevin Durant. I love KD, but he ain't defending the biggest dude on the team.
That's true. I honestly think that if Kyrie's not asking for a trade, they bring in some size.
They try to bring something in. Probably
that's ultimately what happens. Like for them, the crazy thing is, now that I say it out loud, maybe they should go in and trade Kyrie for some size. See what happens.
What size are you gonna get? There's got to be a team, right? To me, I think the toughest part about trading Kyrie is, like you said, the market isn't as big as it normally would be for a Kyrie Irving if everything else doesn't happen in Brooklyn. But I will say this. This is the one thing that I will say. I love Kyrie. I love the talent on the court. Off the court, it seems like the issues continue to follow him everywhere he go. And there's always an excuse for it. But sometimes you just got to look at the guy. Every team you go to is an issue. Every team. Now, Cleveland, I give him full what would be the word for that? Absolving someone?
I absolve him for everything that happened in
Boston.
I
absolve him for everything that happened in Cleveland. Because in Cleveland, right, LeBron's holding the team hostage. He wanted to. I genuinely believe he wanted to leave and make his own name. But I think that he would have stuck around Cleveland if Bron had made a clear decision. In Boston, he drew a line in the sand. And they said, okay, we're going to go with the dudes that are younger than you. Even though you've won, we're going to go with the dudes that are younger than you that just got us to an ECF.
And that's why I got to give you pushback, because Jason Tatum says the complete opposite, and so does Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown said we were the problem.
Yeah, they said no.
They both on tape admitted that we were the problem.
They said they wanted to be the man. But Kyrie Irving also said, listen, I'm with you. But Kyrie Irving also gave the Boston Celtics the decision to make. Either I'm the man or they the man. And Boston said,
I respect it.
I'm with you.
I
but
respect it. Listen, that's the decision that needs to be happening here. Needs to be happening. Good Lord, what am I talking about? Too much. That's the decision that needs to be made here. No, we need to have a clear. This is what we talked about this on the live. There needs to be a clear statement as to, hey, that kid right there that I just paid $215, he's taking the shots. Or he needs to sit there and say, DeMar is finishing. DeMar's our guy. You're supporting him. That they need to have clear roles. You want to know why that's important? Paul George knows his role on the Clippers. He is backing up Kawhi. How do you know that? When they're on the floor, what is he doing?
I don't know. He's still playing pretty good.
He's playing good. And this is why I always have high respect for Paul George, because he don't have to be second fiddle to anybody in the league, realistically. But he plays, he fills in all the other things that team needs. And he allows Kawhi to be Kawhi. And Kawhi right now is a Terminator who sits there and can just score and do all the other things. And Paul George would sit there and play point.
It's so weird to watch him play basketball, bro.
The most line drive shot ever. Just it don't have no arc. It just goes.
It's the weirdest thing in the world to watch Kawhi Leonard play basketball to me, bro. And I'm just like, he's so amazing. He looked like when a coach is technically teaching you how to play basketball.
He looked like they built him in the lab. In fact, he looked like he could be a running back in the NFL. Put all that aside. I'm just gonna say this.
I don't know about that. Not with this run. You notice how he run down the court.
But it's like, listen, they know they roles though. They know they were. Kyrie knows his role with KD. When KD's cooking, it's KD's team.
Yeah.
I ain't heard Kyrie say nothing about being second fiddle to KD. It's freaking Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Right? You know your role. We ain't got that here.
And you know why though? Kevin Durant ain't here. It's like what we was talking about on Views when we was talking about if they were to move those top players to lower teams to try and go after Wembanyama, right? Like when that dude walk in the door, it's his team now. You don't say nothing to that. You know what I mean? When Shaq walked in the door in LA, it was now Shaq team. DeMar DeRozan is great.
It wasn't supposed to be his team though.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. DeMar DeRozan is great. But this season on a night in, night out basis, and I can only base it off this season because of Zach's injury last season. On a night in, night out basis, he ain't always that much greater than Zach. No. It's just that a lot of people don't like how Zach is affecting the game, which is weird to me because he's like affecting it all around more. But they don't like that Zach is just like, hey, I'm gonna take these threes, but also I'm gonna facilitate this ball, but also I'm gonna go down here and get these rebounds, right? Like DeMar's an assassin. Scoring is fun. Scoring looks better.
Zach ain't strung it together yet.
He hasn't strung it all together. And here's the thing. That's why
he can't.
At the end of the day, AK has bet on continuity. Y'all hate to hear this. It's not gonna be done today. The Boston Celtics have been together for 6 years. It's not going to be done today. We thought they was blowing it up last year. And that was after playing together for 5 years. it's not going to be done today. So you're just trying to add in pieces. Now, the one thing that I do like is that Kyrie Irving is not old. So if we were to look at Kyrie Irving, you can add him into a young team. The question that I would have is that, is there going to be some of the similar issues where, yeah, Kyrie is a scoring guard, but Kyrie also operates in a lot of the same spaces that Zach does. Is that going to be an issue for Zach LaVine? Those are the things that you don't know. But at the end of the day, my two concerns around trading for Kyrie, if you were ever going to trade for Kyrie, will always be, is he going to be there at the end of the year? Because I've seen him not be there at the end of the year. He wasn't there at the end of the year twice in Boston, wasn't there at the end of the year once in Cleveland, showed up at the end of the year once in Cleveland. They won a championship that year. That tells you he's a championship caliber player. And he was going bar for bar with LeBron. That was we going back and forth on the freestyle tip, and I'm finishing your verse, you finishing mine. You know what I mean? That's how that finals looked.
Kyrie Irving had to put up a historic stat line for them to even come back in that series.
Yeah.
Kyrie by himself made history with LeBron. And I think Steph Curry even said it recently. He said, I've never seen two people in sync like that. That's big praise coming from him playing with KD, him playing with Clay. He's never seen two people just in sync like that, so consistent for those 3 games. He's never seen it. That's big praise. That also goes to show you the level of talent that you're dealing with.
Yeah, he's a killer. I'm not, there's nothing to take away, but I don't care about none of the other stuff. At the end of the day, Kyrie's enough of a talent that you deal with the headaches that probably come with him, right? My biggest concern will always be, you've been there for one series out of all the important ones we needed you there for. Heck, Brooklyn steamrolls the Milwaukee Bucks if Kyrie Irving is healthy. It wasn't even the one game he was healthy. We literally were like, wow, this team is unstoppable.
It was 2. It was 2 games. They smacked him in the first 2 games.
Well, he got hurt in the second one.
He got hurt in the third one.
He got hurt in the third one or the second one? I thought he got hurt in the second.
He got hurt. It may have been the second one, but they were steamrolling so much.
Yeah.
That Giannis did a whole press conference saying that KD was the best player in the world. In that sound clip that you hear with Giannis say that was during the playoffs.
Yeah. While they were playing him.
While they were playing.
he just looked, he said, hey, look, he's the best player in the world.
Best player in the world.
What I'm gonna do?
Do you know how do you realize how much you gotta be how defeated you have to be to sit there at that competitive stage of the season and admit that someone else is just that much better than you? That's how bad you got cooked. Now you could sit there and say it was humility, stuff like that. No, Giannis is a competitor. He just realized he beat.
Giannis cooked that game too. Let's not. KD had 55 that game or 50 that game, something like that. Giannis still had like 38 that mug.
Yeah, but it was like this. Giannis was sticking KD, and you all could go find a clip.
Oh yeah,
he was man on skate.
KD was cooking.
Easy money.
KD was cooking.
Like, and so here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, but everything I'm hearing is one freak of nature that he can't control. Right? We're talking about someone sliding under him and him having a really bad high ankle sprain. Like, that's not, oh, I'm not here because I don't want to be here. Like, you saw what we were doing. You saw what we were putting together. Hey, you know who I am at that point. Another other season. Hey, you had some bogus rules, man. Like I could have played half the season, and then you had this in and out stuff. And even when I was playing every other game, I gave you 60, and I gave you a week of 200 points. I only played 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Like, hey, it was tensions. I get it, but we're in this together. I'm here. If you ain't gonna be on BS, I'm here. Yeah. That works both ways. Outside of injury, Kyrie's been available. He's been box office. You pay that man his money. Yeah. Anyone that sits there and say, I wouldn't give Kyrie, hey, no one else can extend him more than 2 years, I believe. It may be 3, but I think it's 2.
I wouldn't give him more than 2.
Pat, me and you disagree on that all the time. Like, but I get you. I understand. If you're an owner, I see where you're coming from. But I would max him out at what he's asking for. Simple for if I'm the Bulls, this one reason alone. You all talk about how cheap Jerry is. You all just don't realize how much revenue a winning basketball team drives. You all don't realize how much revenue playoff basketball drives for the Chicago Bulls.
Hey, bro, I get
You don't know how much revenue that another actual star, potential superstar drives for the Chicago Bulls. Like right now, we have mid-tier stars, and then we have Kyrie.
I get you. I hear you. But we do got to realize this though. The 90s Bulls wasn't over the cap.
I can't hear you.
I said the 90s Bulls wasn't over the cap. The Derrick Rose Bulls wasn't over the cap.
So who we believe in? Because Arturo said that the cap is not. I said it last season. The cap is not going to be an issue.
Now, AK with Michael in there. No, I'm just saying you brought up Jerry. I'm saying we can't say Jerry not cheap. His Bulls team now. Michael Reinsdorf is more in charge now. He's got more say on stuff. Right? It's a little different now. But Jerry, none of Jerry's Bulls teams have been over the cap.
I feel you. I'm with you. I said, Jerry, you absolutely right. But AK said, hey, the cap is not going to be an issue. You want to know what? If you look at the teams that he constructed, cap wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You can't buy a championship, but you absolutely got to spend that money if you're going to compete.
No, yeah.
There's not one team right now that has a strong chance at winning the championship that ain't over the cap or darn near.
I think
if you find them, let me know, because I'm gonna tell you right now, they probably don't say the Grizzlies. Don't say them boys is boys is a sparkling first round exit waiting to happen. The way that they sitting there popping off and talking, somebody's just waiting to beat them 4 games out of 7.
Hey, you can dislike them, but they gonna win a lot of games. They gonna win a lot of games. I say you can dislike them, but they gonna win a lot of games.
Nah, because you said it yourself. One person can back it up.
One person
can back it up. But you know what I also noticed?
I said it. Two people can back it up. Jaren Jackson and Ja can both back it up. Jaren
Jackson. Okay, guess what? But
Jaren Jackson is one of the best defenders in the NBA. Ja Morant, of course, Ja Morant is with Ja Morant.
Go watch that Minnesota game. Go watch that Minnesota game. That Minnesota game.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. See, now we're getting on a whole different topic, right? But here's the thing that I don't like.
We're just talking at this point. You know how we do.
Here's the thing I don't like with Memphis. Wasn't nobody saying this when they was blowing the doors off of teams 10, 11, 12 games in a row. They waited till Memphis hit a tough stretch to start piling on. Oh, these boys ain't for real. These boys ain't this. They not worried about the West. They not, bro. Memphis was killing Muzz. Everybody and their mama was quiet.
Dog, I've told you this off camera.
You just don't like Memphis. You don't like.
I like Ja. I really like Ja.
You like Ja. You don't like Ja. Memphis.
Dillon Brooks is a dirty player.
Dillon Brooks is a dirty player. I agree with you.
I don't like dirty players. I don't like Grayson Allen. I understand what role he plays for the Bucks, but I don't like dirty players. And so when you got these people who want to be bigger than they are, and they talk bigger than they are, but you ain't the person putting up the buckets, and you're really not a factor when it comes down to who makes these runs, because I haven't seen the Memphis Grizzlies blow some people out with him sitting on the bench doing all that rah-rah. Like, I've seen it. You not Draymond, bro. Shut up. Back your boy up. Go get him some water when he needs it. Go sit on the bench. Do something else, because you're not him. Like, I don't like that. I'm not big on that. But outside of that, no, I think they got a bright future, but I do feel like, and I've seen some vets say it, they don't have good vets there. So they have no talent. They have a decent coach, but they don't have those floor generals that sit there and can tell them, hey, we need to slow this down. We need to do this. We need to. They don't have that yet.
Yeah, they don't have no vets there.
So they don't know how to win.
Well, they got rid of them. Remember, Iggy was there, and they told him they said they don't want him there.
They don't know how to win. So I'm not big on that. So anyway, all that's to say, sit here and be said, like, you know, we are in a situation as the Bulls where we know our team is better than what we've put on the floor.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you cook on that. I just gotta address this because I gotta defend my boy Ja real quick. Where that one go? Shout out Big T. Appreciate you showing love. Pat, it doesn't matter what Memphis did in the regular season. None of them are playoff proven. I mean, they took the Warriors to 7 last year. Then there was a 6.
Oh, they took the Warriors far?
Yeah, they wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs. Y'all remember that? Right? Like the expectations raised literally just at the end of the season.
Nah, they were supposed to be in the playoffs. I don't know where you got that one from.
Well, they were supposed to get ran. What was they? They came in as what, a 7 or 8?
The Warriors came in low, and they put the Warriors out.
The Warriors came in as a 4. Oh no, the Grizzlies did finish high. The Grizzlies did finish high.
The Grizzlies,
they went on a run.
The Grizzlies and Warriors started when they put them out when Steph was pretty much carrying the team.
Hey, shout out Steph. I love that with Steph. I'm not gonna lie. Steph came over to them boys and said, yeah. Hey, good game, boys. Sucks, don't it?
Like, you know, that's one of those things. And truth be told, we're not that far off as the Bulls are constructed now from being a high seed in the Eastern Conference. We're not that far off. That's how close the conference really is.
Yeah.
We're not that far off. With all that being said, we all acknowledge there's something missing. And a lot of what's missing, Kyrie feel a lot of what's missing. And a lot of what needs to happen by removing somebody and plugging him in solves a lot of what needs to happen.
I don't think he does.
Everything wrong with this particular trade is everything that don't matter. Yeah. Why do I say it don't matter? Because if he wants to be here and he feels the love in Chicago, he gonna play. He gonna play.
I mean, I think this is the thing, though, and this is the part that I always talk about with the Bulls. Bulls are talented. Y'all can say they suck. Y'all can say they have talent. DeMar DeRozan is talented. Zach LaVine is talented. Nikola Vucevic is talented. The Bulls have 3 very, very talented players. They have 1 all-star player.
That one hit harder than it's supposed to.
Yeah, you took a deep one on that. I saw that. You hit that one.
Nah, I sipped and I inhaled at the same time. So it was like,
the Bulls are talented. Here's the thing that the Bulls are missing, and it's the one part that nobody looks at. Nobody hold none of these ones accountable. Nope. And it don't have to be the most talented player on the team. You want to know whose locker room it was when Derrick Rose was here? It wasn't Derrick Rose's. This is very well documented. It was Joakim Noah.
Derrick Rose is just not that personality.
It was Joakim Noah's locker room. It was Joakim Noah's. He was going to hold you accountable. He was going to call you out if you had an issue. He was the one you had to throw them things with if y'all had an issue, especially if you had an issue with Derrick. Derrick just now starting to talk. Like, as he's gotten older, he just now starting to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he still talk mad Chicago.
Oh, he definitely.
There's nobody that's going to hold any of these players accountable for messing up, for having a bad game, for not playing up to the standard that is being set. And you can tell it that it happens in practice. You can tell that it happens because they having great practices, but ain't nobody sitting there saying, you're not giving me the extra. You're not going the extra mile for this. You're not doing. There's nobody to say that because they all buddy. They all like each other. You want to know why I love the fact that Kevin Durant said, y'all don't have to re-sign me. I can get up out of here. Y'all can just trade me. Because Draymond Green is the leader of that team. And Draymond Green said, we was winning these things before you, will win these things without you. And Draymond Green was right. And everybody looks at the seasons where they didn't win and they like, yeah, but they lost this, they lost that. No, they didn't. Stephen Curry got hurt for half a year, came back and tried to put the team on his back, got them to the playoffs. And then they got beat. And the other year, Klay Thompson missed the entire season. I'm sorry, 2 seasons. The 1 year that all 3 of them was back together, they went and won an NBA championship again. Draymond was right. And you know what? Even if he was wrong, he was the one that was going to say, hey, listen, dog, we doing this way because this is the way that we win. We're doing this way because this is how we get things done. That's what the Chicago Bulls are missing right now. Ain't nobody to say that. Who gonna say it? Andre Drummond. Ain't nobody been here long enough. And ain't nobody with that much cachet. All the dudes you got, they likable dudes. DeMar DeRozan might go at you. He might call you out, but you know what he gonna do if you're not playing up the snuff? He just gonna shoot that thing. You need that grit, grind, hustle hard. We gonna go out here and we gonna outwork y'all. That's what Dylan Brooks is trying to be. It just ain't working out. And Ja Morant already is that dude, so I don't know why he's trying to be. It's like that's the dude that Ja is. That's the guy you need. You haven't seen a championship team without that guy.
The funny thing is that what I identify as an issue on the Bulls and why I think Kyrie will be a good fit for it.
Yeah.
Is exactly what Kyrie went through when he was with LeBron in Cleveland. And if you all can just take a step back, listen to what the man himself has said in regards to where he was in his life, how he hadn't matured enough to understand what was happening and hadn't matured enough to really realize what was there because he wanted to take his game to the next level. He did admit that was one of
He
his.
wanted to be the man.
He wanted it, but there was also some. I mean, LeBron has some of his same things. LeBron is a diva just like everyone else is. The only difference is they acquiesce to him enough, and he puts up a lot of stats, and he wins 4 out of 10.
He the greatest diva in the world, though. You know what I mean?
He wins 4 out of 10. Like he like listen, when you can sit there and say I went to this team, won a championship, stuff like that. Yeah, you have a lot more clout. When you can sit there and be as imposing of a figure as you have a lot more clout. There's not a lot of guards in the history that can do that. Steph right now can't go to another organization and they acquiesce everything to Steph. They don't do that for guards.
Not at
y'all
this
think
point.
I'm capping? Tell me the team. Tell me the team how to do it right now.
Not at this point in his career, probably.
You couldn't do it 2 years ago. And that may sound like a tough take, but guess what? No one sits there and looks at Steph as a dominant player to the point where he's so imposing that he's going to guarantee a win. You don't look at Steph like you look at Giannis.
I'm gonna tell you this. I do. Y'all don't. I do. I look at Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry proved everything. Stephen Curry proved every take I ever had that was negative against Stephen Curry wrong last year.
Hey, listen.
Stephen Curry, I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that we don't talk about Stephen Curry in top 10 conversations in my mind is asinine. Because
I talk about him in top 10 conversations.
Stephen Curry is not just the best scorer on the team. Stephen Curry literally can put a team on his back and beat you with a bunch of dudes that we'd be like, man, they nice, but he shouldn't be winning this game. And we've seen him do that. We saw him do that for a half a season where the Warriors literally was out of the playoffs and he gets them to the play-in game. And I don't know if they made it. Did they make the playoffs that year? Did the Lakers beat them? But I don't know if it was in a series.
Big T said, I got to disagree. He changed the way how basketball is played. Listen, you can change how the reason why that works is because the average person is not going to sit there and be 6'9". The average person, Steph can't go out there and get you 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 30 points consistently the way LeBron does. I'm not saying that LeBron is better. I'm saying that he does things differently. And it has imposing of a figure as LeBron is.
LeBron's better. Let's not play. LeBron's better.
No, LeBron's a better player because he can do more, right? That's the part I had to get over with Kobe. Kobe is my favorite player. LeBron can do more than Kobe did, or he's at least done it longer. I have to give him the nod. So at that point, I just can't. He's not better than Mike, but that's different. So with that being said, it's like, hey, you acquiesce for a player that can impact the game on both sides of the ball at a high level, like LeBron. You move earth, mountains, and rivers and stuff to get that player. Steph is a player that you go out your way for. Steph could potentially be a landscape changing thing. LeBron can change the league. And he's done it twice.
Yeah.
Right? Steph changed the way the game was played. LeBron changed the way the game looks from a who goes where standpoint.
Here's the thing that Stephen Curry did. Stephen Curry made the game more accessible. If Stephen Curry doesn't become the player that he is, Trae Young doesn't get the nod.
There is no Trae Young. If
Trae Young gets drafted, right? He makes the NBA. He's
Trae Young on a bench, bro.
I don't know if he's on the bench, right? But he's not allowed to take the same shots.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like Stephen Curry changed that. Stephen Curry, like Damian Lillard's not the kind of shooter that he is of Stephen Curry. Dame literally was like, "Oh, that's what we doing? Oh, I gotta add that shot in. Okay, let's start working on it."
No one gives Dame his credit. He's about to pass. In 2 years, he'll pass Reggie and Ray, I believe, at the rate he's going. No one gives Dame that credit because he's in Portland. Dame, get out of Portland, bro.
Reggie gives everybody the credit for passing him, dog. You always say that.
No. I'm not. The funny thing is when I say that, I'm never talking about the people who've actually played with an intelligent opinion. Because a lot of them they don't have these conversations. They don't. Kobe didn't have these conversations of him and LeBron. In 2009, he said LeBron will eventually be better than me. He said it. So he don't have to sit there and worry about it. When you're securing yourself, you don't have to worry about that.
He's also said his top three in no particular order is him, MJ, and LeBron. Though.
Hey, listen, depending on the
Actually,
situation, he ain't wrong.
They asked him in order, and he said, "It's me, MJ, and then LeBron," because he was like, "I'm never gonna put myself below Mike." But LeBron was still third.
And depending on who you ask in the situation, he ain't wrong. Kobe has faced more 50-win teams than LeBron and Mike. It's a whole different conversation. I can make a good argument for Kobe being a GOAT. I really could. But then there's also some things where it's like he can't do that.
Yeah, no.
so like, but that's a whole different thing. Ultimately, it's like, hey, I bring all of that up to say, like, we look at these things and how the landscape has shifted and stuff like that around these players. But we never really give them the credit for when they can sit there and not only admit where they went wrong, but try to correct the situation. Kyrie's already done that. Kyrie's done it on multiple narratives about him, where he was like, you know what, I should have handled that, but I was at a different space. Yeah. I wasn't mentally prepared for that. I wasn't emotionally prepared for that. I didn't know how to communicate that. And Brown was in a whole different space himself. So when a man can admit that and be like, all right, that's what went wrong. Guess what? That's exactly what Zach is going through with DeMar. I don't care what you all say. They're buddy and stuff like that. But Zach wants to be the number one. It's evident.
For sure.
You can't be the number one with that guy there. And there has to be a come to Jesus moment somewhere, somehow. Or you're going to have another year or two because DeMar's still under contract. Well, we got to figure this out. And unfortunately, I don't sit there and look at, oh, Lonzo Ball had him clicking. I didn't see that. You know what I saw? I saw us winning, sure. But I saw us winning with Zach being unsure of himself because he was still working himself back. That's what I saw. I saw Zach being raw and we were winning and stuff like that. And it was coming together for him. And he was truly being mentored at that point. Then it became a point was, well, the 35 games we had Lonzo, there was a clear need for DeMar.
Because Zach
didn't have it. Zach didn't have nearly what he has now, in my opinion.
Zach was hurt.
We were calling the games and they were bad games at times. But we were like, he's just going too quick. He's just like, he was rushing so much. There was like no real flow to his game. But then we saw that kind of ease up a little bit.
Remember, he started the season off, I think like 10 games in, he messed his thumb up, so he couldn't shoot. And he keep messing his thumb up, bro. Like, good Lord, you got DJJ thumbs? What's going on there? And then his back messed up because his knee was messed up and he didn't want to have surgery on it because it was a contract year. And then after the back got messed up, they just was like, sit out. We're gonna give you the. I think he just had to clean up last year or something. Or they did something to his knee just to get it, or they drained it. They drained his knee. He was out, and then he came back, and then we was losing by the end. But yeah, a lot of the winning we did last year is, with DeMar by himself. First, it's sub 500 teams, but still with DeMar by himself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I think here's the thing, right? If you want to be the guy, and this is what sports should be, you shouldn't be the guy because you got paid $215 million. That means that we believe that you can be the guy. If you want to be the guy, be the guy. Prove that you're the guy. Because you know what? There's been many a times where they put the ball in your hands for you to be the guy, and you ain't looked like the guy. Or at least you haven't looked like you're so far ahead of the guy that's behind you or right next to you that we can clear cut say you're the guy right now. Now the Bulls also need to make a decision. I don't take that away. You got to make a decision because they operate too many of the same spaces. The one thing that I notice about DeMar DeRozan that Zach LaVine's game, not to say it's eliminated, but I think it hinders his game, is the one thing about Zach LaVine was heralded as one of the best mid-range shooters as well. Zach LaVine was heralded as one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA right there with DeMar DeRozan. And that narrative is kind of going away because he hasn't shot nearly as many mid-range shots. That's an entire aspect of his game that he doesn't really go to as much anymore because DeMar DeRozan's in those spots. So guess what? I'm pulling these tray balls. I would like to see him get back to that. But realistically, right, listen, we never have questioned. Kyrie and KD are both amazing players. The second KD showed up on that team, we said, well, Kyrie, what you go there for if you didn't want to be Batman? Or the second Kyrie showed up on that team, we said, Kyrie, what you go there for? Because you said you wanted to be Batman. You definitely Robin over there. You ain't nowhere near Batman. You Damian Wayans. You're not even Dick, the original. You know what I mean? You're not even Dick Grayson. You Damian.
Man, you know what? It's like having Superman on your team, though. Like we can all be part of the Justice League. We can all be coding our own right. But you just got to admit when some people are better. There's only one or two people in their prime from this era of basketball that I would sit there and say, if KD's on that team, it's their team. Prime LeBron, maybe. And maybe prime Giannis. Maybe.
Well, Giannis still in his prime.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But that's, you know, so like I don't knock him for that. You know, I don't knock him for that at all. Like, you know what? Why should we though? That's the part I don't understand.
It's not about that. It's about understanding, right? Like, who's Batman here? Is there Batman here? They not Batman and Robin. They the Wonder Twins. Like, it's not. You're not. Some games DeMar's way better than Zach LaVine. Some games Zach LaVine's way better than DeMar. Over these last couple of games, Zach LaVine has been way better than DeMar because DeMar couldn't score and he was turning the ball over and it legitimately cost us wins. Zach LaVine, I believe he had 11 assists or something. He had like 14 assists, 11 rebounds. He didn't score enough. Something like that. Something like that. Some crazy game. Last game, passing the ball really well, defending well, right? Like sometimes Zach is here, sometimes DeMar is here, but it's never, oh, he's up here, and I know for a fact. The only player I look at on this team, and I'd be like, if you gave him the ball consistently, he probably would prove that he's the Batman of this team, is Vooch. If you threw him the ball every play, if you ran the offense through Nikola Vucevic 110% of the time, he would win his matchup more times than that.
I agree with that. I think the one thing that I will say is the only reason why it feels different when Zach does it is because DeMar has had the time and opportunity to show that it's possible. And Zach don't get those same opportunities. Just as many game winners and clutch moments as DeMar's had, he's had some games where he's absolutely bombed them. Even as of late.
For sure.
Absolutely bombed him. Like remember, what was it against Indiana? Like, why you take that shot?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Was it Indiana? I think it was Indiana.
It was Indiana. He didn't get the look he wanted. He also got fouled, which is just eliminate the last 2-minute report at this point. Right. What LJ say? LJ said he ain't even Jason Todd or Tim Drake. He Damian Wayans. Literally called this man Batman's son. LOL. Hey, bro, like here's the thing. Kyrie, again, there's not 15 players in the NBA better than Kyrie. I would say Kyrie's probably 10 or 11 in the league right now. Top 10, maybe 11 in the NBA. I'd have to go through a list of players. But there's some really good players in this NBA today. But you want to know who's still 9 players or 8 players above him? That would be Kevin Durant.
They all big men. Like, it ain't hard to run it down. It's Jokic, it's Giannis, it's Embiid, it's Kevin Durant, it's did I say Giannis already? I said Giannis already. At that point, I can get to struggling, to be honest with you. Steph, I still put Steph up there.
I'm putting Steph above him. I still put LeBron above him. I would put LeBron above him. LeBron James I mean, he's slowing down, but he's literally just slowing down. He's still killing people.
Yeah, I put LeBron above him. That's 6.
That's 6. I'm trying to think here. Let me go through some things. Nobody else in the East would I put above. Definitely not Donovan Mitchell.
I'm not putting Kawhi over him right now.
I would put Jason Tatum over him.
I wouldn't put Jason Tatum over him because Jason Tatum's still mad inconsistent. He just got a nice squad.
Yeah, man. That man ain't been mad inconsistent this year. That man been cooking this year. Luka is better than Kyrie. I would say Luka's better than Kyrie.
Okay.
I would put Kawhi over Kyrie. But Kawhi ain't Kawhi. But that's why I said he's 9. like 10, 11. You know what I mean? He's like 10, 11. But here's the thing. On that list, Kevin Durant is like 2 or 3.
Oh. Now here's a good question. You said Kawhi will be over him. Chat kind of agrees. Why?
Because when Kawhi's on the court, he's one of the best players in the NBA.
When he's on the court, Kawhi's missed more games than Kyrie.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm just saying because he's playing right now. I just said
we talking about people who ain't never there.
Hey, yeah, for sure. Hey,
this man takes a vacation
right now, right? Like he might not be playing tonight. You know what I mean?
He's on low management
relax
all
relax
season.
Relax, LJ. I love Ja Morant. He's not over Kyrie. Come on. He's not over Kyrie.
Hey, you can gritty on down to Memphis with that one because I ain't
Zion.
Zion
He's
is not better than Kyrie.
He's not healthy enough for me to say, hey, listen.
Zion is not better than Kyrie.
Zion
to give you a good 20 games and miss 15.
Hey, I agree with that.
Give you a good 5 and miss another 10.
I agree with that, but Kyrie's missed his share of games as well. If we talking about winning these mugs on the court, give me Zion over Kyrie. Now, granted, that's only if they on the court. Zion ain't on the court enough. But if they on the court, if
Zion can play a full 82 the way he plays, he'd be the best player in the league.
Yeah. Zion would.
He'd be 30 points a game on 62% shooting.
I'm just talking about straight up talent wise, right? I'm just talking about talent in the league. Like Zion to me is a better talent than Kyrie because like he shouldn't be moving people that way. he shouldn't be moving Joel Embiid. He shouldn't be moving.
If the only thing that you have with Zion being in the conversation of being like on Kyrie's level is what he can physically do.
Yeah, 100%.
The question is what happens when that diminishes because there ain't a whole lot of LeBrons walking out here.
Yeah, no. I think that's a fair assessment of it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's he gonna be able to do? Like Zion to me is fun right now. He had to get his ring. He's got to get his rings within his first 6 years in the NBA. Because after that, then it's gonna be like, then you start to have a Blake Griffin conversation. I mean, listen, this mug is nice, but what else he got? Blake Griffin is what? What is he? 32? 33? I gotta stop doing that. I hate that I do that. I make everybody 32. How old is Blake, man? Shut up.
Hey, what is he? 6'4"?
Hey, no. The height. Hey, look. The height I be on with because nobody knew that Jonathan Isaac was 6'11" except me.
Nobody knew who he was, Pat.
Hey, bro, listen. No, because literally I said, shut up, Steve. I knew he was going to comment in. No, because literally I said Jonathan Isaac was Paolo before Paolo got here and everybody forgot about him because he got hurt. And Muzz was like, what are you talking about? Like, but Jonathan Isaac, like 6'5". I was like, that man is like 6'11".
He tall.
Hey, that man, he was standing next to Vucevic, and I was like, ooh, I forgot about that. That's a problem right there. Like, if he come back for real, that's a problem.
Now, you know what? I want to sit there and say I appreciate everyone from tuning in. We went live late, kind of unplanned. I was trying to get something out earlier, had a total system shut down that just totally made me mad. Pat was over there laughing at me.
Bro, because I've been telling you buy a goddamn external hard drive for like 6 months.
No, but I have one. What happened was just like an anomaly. Like I lost a month worth of stuff, but I mean, like it wasn't major. Like I got my major stuff. I ain't worried about that. So like it was cool, whatever it was, right? But I got all the stuff Pat be telling me to buy. I either bought it or like intended to buy it or
put it in your cart and forgot about it. Yeah, you be forgetting about it.
But I got the external hard drive for sure.
Hey, look, by the way, heck of a mic you got there, brother. Hey, good job. Appreciate it.
Shut up. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go back to the Yeti just for you. How about that?
What a douche.
But you know what? I know we didn't want to sit here and beat this. We got 153 people with us. We appreciate you all. Let's say because you all rock with us, and this is up to Pat too. You want to give them the next 18, just a free flow it, just make it 130 even. Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna get off this live. We're gonna talk for 20 minutes anyway. Like y'all don't know. Me and Pat will sit here do this all day. Get off the live, sit here and talk for 20 minutes. But I talk to you tomorrow. Like this is what happens. So we might as well just do it now.
That's facts. That's facts. You know what? And here's the thing. Let's talk to the chat, man, because we really ain't focused on the chat much. Drop y'all questions in here, man. Chop it up with us, man. We appreciate you guys for pulling up and showing love. Let us know what you guys think, of course, about Kyrie Irving. Should the Bulls make a trade? I love when Raging jumps in this mug, bro, because it's just like absolute, like it is rage at times, dog. As you just see it going up, it's just like, man, how he typed that fast. But yeah,
hey, y'all should sit there and say where y'all watching. We should say where y'all watching the game from at this point, because this is what that is now. By the way, shout out to you all. Drink responsibly. Dilly.
I need to go open mine. I bought a couple of new bottles today. I don't even know what they call. No, you know what I bought? I bought some Captain Morgan private stock today. Bro, hey, listen, by the way, plug or if you have the ability to get to it. there's a spot called Saul's Beverage Place. Saul's Beverage Depot. It is on Manheim. No, it's on Roosevelt. Yeah, bro, the prices on that liquor was not normal. They had Crown Royal Peach for like $20.
I'm gonna tell you this.
These wasn't sales, bro. I bought private stock today. Private stock normally like what, $40?
I'm not sure.
35, $40, something like that. Somebody can fact check me on that. Yeah, I bought it for like $23.
Oh yeah, that's a going away sale. I need to go ahead and break them off.
But no, bro, they always selling liquor at this price.
If you in the town, go ahead. Oh man, too much. Let me get it together. Hold on. If you're in the town, need you to go ahead, hit up Saul's.
I didn't give them a plug.
Who owns Saul's? You need to let him know we plugged them.
Ricky, you're not a mod.
You know,
Ricky, I'll make you a mod, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're mod status.
At the same time, one thing I want to do for Black History Month, because this is Black History Month and we haven't sat there and addressed it or acknowledged it at all. I would love to sit there and support a Black designer,
man,
for free all month. I want to support a Black designer. I saw what the Bulls did with the artist collection and some of the artists that they had design those hats. I thought that was a dope idea. Yeah. And I was just like, man, you know, I want to connect more with the community that we're building. I told Pat, I'm like going all in on what we're building here. And so, like, if y'all got some stuff that y'all want us to have on the lives, we're gonna be doing some events. We get over 1 million impressions. You get your eyes on stuff. You have an opportunity where you just send the sizes, we'll rock it. Now, if it's whack, I'm gonna let you know it's whack.
Hey, bro, I've had to let a couple of people know, like, bro, why you screen printing on velvet, bro? Or not screen printing. Why you heat pressing on velvet, bro?
If it's whack, I'm gonna let you know it's whack. And I'm gonna let you know why. That use that as a way to go ahead.
I was gonna say, shout out to Isu. He said, I love Irving, but I want to see him go to LA. The Bulls need to make other trades. Vooch and Zach trades can definitely get them some good returns. Zach's not going nowhere, bro. How long? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the kind of fan I am. Once I realize an organization is not gonna make a move, I stop saying it.
I don't think this is that organization. And to be honest with you, we simply don't know. Yeah. Like, I get what we are so used to what Jerry did and all the times of old and stuff like that. We done had AK for what, 1, maybe 2 off seasons, and he done made moves every off season.
We really didn't make no moves last off season
because he made it during the season.
Not really.
We got Vooch. When we traded for Vooch, we didn't do nothing really that off. No, because that's what
that off season. Bro, that off season we did, but we done had a whole off season and during the season since then.
We done had a whole off season where
because last year we just signed Drummond, we signed Dragic, and when we got to the buyout market, we didn't do nothing at the trade deadline. We got to the buyout market, we brought in Tristan Thompson, and that man was cheeks.
But look at it though. What was the narrative last season? When we healthy, we know we got him. So let's not do anything. We just got to wait it out because we weren't healthy, and that was cool. Now we healthy and we like, hey, this ain't working. So I don't know what he's going to do.
This the thing, and this is the part that's tough to say, but I need if you played, you know, we're still not healthy. We're still not healthy. Drummond has missed time. Dragic has missed time. Javante's still missing time. DJJ has missed time. Zach has missed time. DeMar has missed time. Like none, right? Like we say we're healthy because Zach, DeMar, and Vooch have played a good majority of the games, but you need role players on this mug to win games. Now we should be winning a lot of the games that we're losing, and I think that's the part that irritates us most, right? Like if we was winning the games that we were winning with the top teams, right? And then we just won like some of the games we shouldn't have lost versus these bottom teams, we will feel better. The problem is we lose most of the games we play against these bottom teams, and then we go out there and we put Golden State on skates.
Complete opposite of the season before.
It's just like what it literally is, bro. It literally is. But the thing is, right? Like there's the Bulls still aren't healthy, right? Like when you're trying to run a rotation, now the biggest issue is that Billy Donovan also like shrinks his rotation when people get hurt, which is idiotic as well. That's a whole different conversation in itself. But when you're trying to run a rotation, your rotation changes drastically when you go from Caruso and Kobe White off of the bench to DJJ is the next best player that you see in that mug.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I think somebody in the comments just said it. So if I'm taking your thought, I was on the same wavelength. So, but shout out to you. Every team deals with it. Every team. Look at the Warriors. They didn't have Steph for about 10, 15 games. Then they lost Andrew Wiggins. Then they didn't have Clay. Yeah. Right now they struggling, so that is what it is. Let's go to a good team. Let's go to the Bucks. The Bucks then started off without Chris Middleton. Was still 14 games over 500. Then they lost 10 in a row. They lost 9. They lost a lot of games.
I've told y'all my thought on the Bucks. I'm not going.
Man, you a hater.
Just a hater. I'm not. I'm just saying keep that same energy. We want to say, oh, the Bucks are champions, so they'll figure it out. They don't have a good head coach. Their head coach's game plan is Giannis go. This man head coach, the Milwaukee Bucks game plan for their team when people are hurt is Pokemon. Giannis, I choose you. He's
Doug Collins.
No. Well, maybe I give you that. Doug Collins, if he sticks around with Mike, probably
is Doug Collins. Guess what? Doug Collins knew one thing. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I know that man can score. So at this point, if we need a bucket, that man's going to get it. And all Bud sat there and realized was like, yo, I'm not going to force you to play point like Jason Kidd. I'm not going to force you to play in the paint because you can do more than that. And you just haven't developed that yet, but you seem to be working on it. What can you do?
Hey, bro, you got.
And then he just let him do it.
Hey, I'm with that. Run a system for everybody else. Because you
can't say got a system for everybody else.
What's their system, bro? Their system is Giannis go, and then I'm going to kick this mug out to whoever's open out there.
Watch this. This is the system. First of all, that's all LeBron does, but that's a different story. That's all LeBron's done his whole career. Different story, though, right? For some odd reason, it's cool with LeBron, but it ain't cool for Giannis. That's all Luka does. It's cool when Luka does it, but Giannis is a problem. That's all Trey does. It's cool when Trey does it, but it's not cool when Giannis does it.
This is the problem with it. It's not all Luka does because ain't nobody standing out there.
Dog, all Luka does is sit there, dribble, draw the double, and kick out. All Giannis does is sit there, dribble, draw the double, and either dunk on you or kick out.
So who was Luka kicking out to?
Spencer Dinwiddie. Christian Wood has been cooking. Here's the thing. I'm not a Mavs fan. I think they have a good team if they sit there and tell Luka to do less. I'm giving Luka the same take I gave LeBron. LeBron early in his career, if he did less,
he would win. He would have won more. Did the kid internet go out? Did the kid internet just go out? I love where this paused at, bro. Oh, the wife cut the internet off on him. Oh, dog. Kid, come back. Hey, we'll get Kid back in here, man. I'm going to keep answering some of y'all questions, bro. I appreciate everybody super chatting. I see one more super chat. He still froze over here, dog. He still froze on my screen, bro. He finally clicked out. Oh, that's funny, dog. Super chat from AK.
I don't know what happened there. I was in the middle of cooking. I think they didn't want me to cook on Luka too much.
Hey, super chat from AK real quick. He said, big no to Kyrie to the Bulls. Debo and Kyrie will be even more iso ball. They're allergic to D. Bulls need a point guard. Well, Debo would probably be a part of the trade. You wouldn't move on from Zach LaVine to bring Kyrie here because weirdly enough, right? Everybody who don't play hates Zach LaVine, but all the players kind of love Zach LaVine and really want to play with him on other teams. Like every other team wants Zach LaVine. We got another super chat. What this one say here? Hey dog, I ain't gonna lie to you. That was funny. That man said, if LeBron did less. Super chat from LJ says, if our front office would have listened to Pat, drafted Michael Porter Jr. instead of Wendell Carter, we wouldn't be having half these problems. Thank you. Hey, I don't even know if he frozen. That's the tough part.
I could do
Hey,
it. I could do it. I could keep doing it.
Kid freeze for real, dog. Nah, yeah. Now here's the thing. No, you wouldn't have these problems because you know what? Michael Porter Jr. would be the best player on your team. You wouldn't have any questions. Zach LaVine would be the number 2.
Michael Porter Jr. Okay. What is he doing right now?
MPJ, cooking. I ain't even seen it, but I guarantee he's cooking. Because every time I see that boy, he just knocking down tray balls. That boy shot so effortless, boy.
I'm gonna tell you this. I ain't seen nor heard about Michael Porter Jr.
You want to know why? Because the MVP is on his team. The MVP is on his team. That's why you ain't heard nothing about Michael Porter Jr.
So, I mean, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 47% shooting.
But that boy shooting from 3.
That man is a bucket. Where's he shooting from 3?
Yeah, what he shooting from 3?
Heck yeah. He only played 9 games, though. He's 41% from 3.
Hey, what Jonathan said he be cooking and getting cooked. Hey, listen, no defense. The only defense I've ever seen worse than him, I've said this multiple times, when J.R. Smith stopped in the middle of the game to shake old boy's hand. Michael Porter Jr. is a awful defender. Like it's not even hilarious. It's one of them. It's just like, bro, like you just not gonna stand in front of that dude at all. But yeah, that's just me. I would have always.
You hit your wagon to that dude, and that dude has been an epitome of injured and unavailable. but
he came in.
Hey, we would have drafted him. You know, he wouldn't have been the best player on this team. He'd been Lauri Markkanen.
No, because he came in. Here's the thing. I would have waited on him because he came in with the same thing Embiid did, and look at Embiid now. He literally came in with a back issue, very much like, or was Embiid a leg? One of them came in with a back.
No, Embiid ain't had no back issue.
Embiid didn't play his first year and a half.
He had a foot issue.
Who had a back? Was it Ben Simmons? Somebody came in. All of them that they picked up came in with some kind of injury and missed the year. Because Ben Simmons missed his rookie year too.
True.
I don't remember what Ben Simmons was. But
hey, dog, I gotta sit here and say this.
What up?
That man's Lauri Markkanen. I ain't trying to hear that, dog. His career. If you look at Lauri Markkanen's first 4 years and you say, well, he came in as a rookie up 18-10, and then he goes back down and stuff like that. That's all MPJ stats look like. MPJ would have got here and we'd have been sitting there trying to run him out of town because he ain't never available, always hurt, and we gonna be wondering why we signed him and why do we do that.
Hey, listen, Lauri Markkanen ain't shot as well as MPJ does until this year. Lauri Markkanen ain't never looked like a bucket like MPJ do. At any point. MPJ scores effortlessly. It's not even like this the first year Lauri Markkanen looked like he can score effortlessly. MPJ been a bucket since he walked on the court.
I like this question. What's the perfect piece to make the current Bulls team a contender? First hour I talked about Kyrie Irving.
I don't know if that's the perfect piece. I think the biggest thing is a big man. I think you have to. The NBA has to start to accept, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's probably why the Bulls aren't gonna move on from anybody at this point anyway. They're gonna try and go find guys through the draft, or if they're gonna trade somebody, right? It might be a trade for something like going to try and find a James Wiseman or something like that, right? A young big that you could put on this team. Because I think they realize where the NBA is going. I don't know if people know this. You need tall dudes to play basketball, and we ain't got a ton of them. It's not a surprise to me that we're losing in a league that's kind of realizing that big dudes are important again. Hey, yeah, the big dude we watched last night looked pretty freaking good, didn't he? Mark Williams looked like he about to be a bucket. Only reason they got him coming off of the bench is because they like, hey, you a rook, and Steve Clifford there, and he old school mindset, so you got to have the rook sit off the bench and learn for a few games. Like, it's stupid. He's the better center. He's better than Miles Plumlee is right now.
What you know what, Pat? I know we was just sitting here rapping, and I know that we say we're gonna end something at a certain time, and then we end up still talking. So at any point we gotta go, just say we gotta go. I'm not trying to exhaust this, but it's a good question that's posed. Jonathan asks, "Do you see any? Do you guys see?" Let me just put the question up here because they keep moving. My dumb self. Anyway, I'm still trying to see it. Do you guys see other stars outside of Kyrie and maybe KD that may get irritated with their current situation and ask out? In fact, we've seen two. One of them is I don't know if you would call him a star, but he's someone I have said we should look into. Excuse me, and that's DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has been reported to the Suns are like, and if you really ask me, the Suns aren't going anywhere.
No, they're not.
The Suns are cooked. Right,
The Suns
they have
peaked in year one. Hey, that tells you how important Chris Paul was to it. Because ever since he ain't been as good, they ain't been as good.
But Devin Booker has been out for a considerable amount of time this season, so I do want to give him a pass on that. When your best player and your certified bucket is gone, then I expect you to dip on the standings and lose some games.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the time for them or the opportunity for them to win has passed them by, and so they need to make a decision with their big. They went guard heavy. They paid Devin. And DeAndre Ayton reminds me of Wiseman a little bit. He does more. He has more ability than they're utilizing.
Yeah.
And so you need to put him in a situation where he can absolutely maximize his talent. And so that will be someone I would look at because we haven't extended Vooch. He is not happy there. And he's a double-double. He's a guaranteed double-double. He averages Vooch's numbers.
Yeah.
And he's 24. So when you look at 10 years younger, gives me about the same, maybe not as he probably doesn't shoot as well as Vooch, but I mean he's 24. Vooch didn't shoot at 24 the same way he shoots now. Vooch is a better shooter now from the perimeter. So I mean, I would go younger to match with Zach's timeline and probably make a move for him. Pat, what do you think?
I wouldn't be mad at Ayton. There's always going to be some star. That's welcome to the modern NBA. There's a new star every year, right? Kyrie Irving won it out. Kevin Durant won it out. They both won it out 2 years ago. They both won it out 3 years ago. They both won it out 4 years ago, right? They've been the starters constantly wanted to go to a new team. There's always somebody that just gets sick of their team waiting. I think there's going to be some people in Houston that don't want to be a part of that long term, right? Because while, yeah, you down there scoring as much as you can, at some point, hey, we ever going to try to win something here? And I don't think they're going to be in a position to really win games I still got them probably 3-4 years away just because they're not really running a system. Paul Silas Jr., is that his name? Paul Silas Jr.? It's not Paul Silas Jr. What's his name?
For who? Suns?
No, the Rockets. Steven Silas.
Yeah, Paul Silas. Silas.
Coach Silas. Coach Silas. Steven Silas' his name. He's not really. He letting them play street ball. That don't work in the NBA. You know what I mean? And John Wall said it as much. John Wall said, what he said was so. When he was talking about that team, he said he had to look at them. He said, "Hey, play y'all game. I love it. Y'all know y'all can't do this nowhere else." You go to any other team and they will not let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You will be cut. You will be on the pine for the rest of your NBA career. So enjoy this while you can. Develop all the skills you can because you won't do this nowhere else. But there's always going to be some star that wants out or some top tier role player that wants out, right? Like that's just what the modern NBA is. We've talked about movement in this league every year since LeBron went to Miami. Every single year, we've talked about major movement in this league. Shifts in this league. How people are teaming up to try and take down because then all of a sudden people were trying to take down Miami. Then all of a sudden people were trying to become Miami or they were trying to go to Miami, right? Like, so there's always going to be some star. And you know what? That's the part that I want that, like I talked about earlier, I want Bulls fans to understand. You didn't have a shot at those stars. The one thing I can guarantee you about the Chicago Bulls right now, they have a shot at Kyrie Irving. They have a shot at a star that wants to make a move. They have a shot at, right? You didn't have a shot. We didn't have a shot at any of the stars. If DeAndre Ayton wanted to come here, DeAndre Ayton would look at this team and be like, why would I ever go to the Chicago Bulls? It's a garbage organization. That's why you had to pay Zach LaVine. It wasn't a smart deal to make, whether it was or not. Whether you thought he was hurt or not, whether you thought he was injured or not, you had to pay a dude that was here because the stipulation around your team, even 30 years later, was still, man, y'all treated the GOAT like that. I know how y'all do y'all players.
The funny thing is, you're absolutely right. And that's why I think we all rat and raved over AK, but we really didn't know why we were doing it.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did. And you know, but I get to talk to you all the time, right?
Yeah,
but like for the most of the people we see in the chat that we don't really get to have extended time with, you know, most of them were just, you know, we can only see you through the captions and the comments that you leave. And so, you know, I never take it as that's your complete opinion or that's who you are as a person for whatever you're saying. But most of us was just expecting AK to come in and make every decision and to turn us into this world-class organization. But we didn't really think about what it takes or the growing pains that we have to go to get to a world-class organization.
Yep.
And, you know, you have to look at, you know, I use the Boston Celtics and I use the Lakers as a good example. For every time we can sit there and say that they ran the table, won championships, they've had some ugly down years, right? They had some really, really low lows. And the only reason why you stuck with them was because you had faith that they were going to get it together and absolutely put people in position to get us back or that team back to the top of the mountain. And so we haven't had that in so long. We didn't have it before Michael. We haven't had it since Michael. And it's been one of those things where it's like, man, we want to feel that again, because even if you never saw Michael play, you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it throughout the city. It's kids who have never seen Michael Jordan, but because they see his shoe and they understand what that symbol means without ever seeing him play, they associate it with winning. They don't associate it with nothing else. It's about winning. So at this point, it's like we're going through that growing pain. So Pat's absolutely right. We have to sit there and show that we're willing to take care of the players who stuck it out with us. We're willing to take care of people and get them help. And not,
guess what?
You know,
even if you trade Zach, he got $215 million. Even if we move on from Zach LaVine at some point, he is $215 million. That's something that we couldn't say about a lot of the players. That's something that we couldn't say about a lot of the dudes that left the city of Chicago. And they left the city of Chicago with a sour taste in their mouth. Yeah. That's not the case anymore. Heck, we almost killed doggone Luol Deng before he left Chicago. So I don't even know about that one there.
And I'll never forget how the city treated Derrick Rose before we traded him.
Oh man, Muzz was clapping to see him go. Muzz was so happy to see him go.
People were like, thank God, finally.
I thought it was, here's the thing. I thought it was time for you to try to reset. I thought it was time for you to move on and try to grow from it. But I wasn't happy to see Derrick Rose go. I was sad as heck. Like, it was people that was like, finally, we can move on from this bum. He glad. And then all of a sudden, right, and this would piss me off the most. He gone. Y'all saw the documentary. Y'all saw the emotion, the human side of Derrick Rose, and y'all was like, we want him back. The fact that Derrick Rose is even willing to come back, shout out to him for being a bigger person. Because I'd be like, I heard y'all. I heard sports radio. I heard ESPN. I heard 670. I heard how y'all wanted me to go.
What's funny to me is how, and it's not the same. It's not, no, because his time out is absolutely the same. Chicago fans identified with Isaiah Thomas and how the Celtics did him, but dragged Derrick Rose, who was going through those injuries after putting on for the city as much as he did, being the youngest MVP, striking legit fear in the league.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's wild to me.
Fam, the fear that people talk about, that tell you what he could have been. Oh my God, he would have been so cold, bro. The fear that people talk about when they had to play against Derrick. Bro, they be like, hey, what was Derrick Rose like? And you know it's cold when it's the only reaction you get.
Different.
Hey, that boy Rose. Hey, listen, look. This is an idiotic comment, but I'm putting it on the screen for a reason.
Cause that clip that dude did for the
oh my God, bro. The meme came from that, bro.
He was like, yeah, we got my script at the beginning of the season.
Hey, bro.
the fact that he did it without laughing was like crazy to me.
The memes that came from that had me in tears, bro. They had DMX crying. They said when Aaron Hernandez got his script. Dog, some of the memes that came from that had me in absolute tears, bro. Man, I said when Aaron Hernandez got his script and it was just DMX just
oh man. Hey. I gotta pivot us off of that one because that's that still brings up hurt feelings for some people. Hey,
why? He wild. He was hey, listen, hey, that wasn't the only good. What was the other one? They said Adrian, what was it? It was an Adrian Peterson, one of them mugs. I think it was AP. It said when he got the script that his ACL he got to tear his ACL this year.
Hey man. Hey, Mike Big Dog got this guy.
When Steve said when Colin Kaepernick script with the Django movie.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Hey, dog.
Man, get back to some basketball talk real quick, dog. Because
when Matt Ryan got the Super Bowl script.
Bro, how does it feel to be on the wrong side of history twice?
Hey, twice. You ain't seen all the games Matt Ryan is blown like that. It's just like Matt Ryan getting that script every year.
Bro, Matt Ryan getting done so dirty. First off, he don't play defense. So I absolutely like, man.
Ricky. Wow, Ricky said when Adrian Peterson kid got the script.
Yeah, we ain't going that way, dog.
Chill, Ricky.
Hey, that's a bar joke, not a live joke.
That's up there with kids yesterday. That's up there with it.
Hey, I'm clipping that up. I'm making a reel out of it.
Oh, I was gonna make one. I just been busy today, dog. But yeah, that mess. Hey,
I'm trying to find a good picture of Brittany Renner for that. I'm trying to clip up all the shots he took and missed. Because I mean, listen, y'all gotta understand. I really didn't know what I had said until he repeated it. I really did. I was just really ticked at the fact that PJ was taking all these threes like he's him, and he ain't never been that guy, bro. Like I'd have been on the bench like, dog, why you keep taking his threes? like it was ugly.
That mess had me crying, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
This man was dying.
I was dying, bro. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard you say in your life, bro.
Well, thank you. I take that compliment.
Oh,
hey, listen,
man.
It's 153 of you all in here. I want to say this one thing. We want to do more content like this, and y'all have been hearing us push this playback thing. I don't think y'all really understand why we're trying to do it. So I'm gonna give you the sauce real quick. We get to do more. Now, what I mean by that, meaning all this time we've been sitting there talking about these players, wouldn't it have been nice for us to sit there and have the highlights of the players playing in the background, us really breaking down some game footage, all that right here, like just at a click and just going through it without YouTube flagging us and stuff like that, and you all don't have to pay us nothing? You ain't got to worry about super chat and stuff like that. You just got to show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. So if you've been rocking with us since we was at like 900 subs with like 4 different backgrounds, my mic was janky, camera was janky, Steph looked like he was in a dungeon and stuff like that, and you want to see us grow, so like come over to the playback side. If you use the playback side for just this type of content where we just sitting there chilling, we can break down some stuff. You don't have to have a provider, a service provider, or internet provider. Well, you obviously have to have an internet provider, but I mean a cable provider to watch those games. Those are just for live calls, but just to be able to, for us to break down the film, because we're going to do Magic versus Mike. We're going to do
I can't wait
Magic. Mike versus Charles Barkley. We're going to go through all those historic games that y'all wanted us to do. Pat got a couple games. What's your games you talking about?
Oh man, I want to do the Lakers one. I want to do Shaq's birthday game, bro. I think must forget. I think we're getting to a point now where people like they see the highlights, but I think you forget how consistent Shaquille O'Neal was at just killing the dude on the other side of him. I want to do Kobe's game in Dallas. Because the biggest question on that was, could he have actually broken Wilt record? Like, Phil just pulled him. Was he on a pace to actually break Wilt record, or was he slowing down? There's so many games that I really want to do. I want to do AI in the finals and say, hey, listen, we always praise him for getting one game versus that team for the team that he had, right? But was he actually still cooking in the finals? You know what I mean? Like, was he like, there's so many series. And I think the thing is, right, like, I feel like we remember the 90s and early 2000s a lot better because we didn't have the internet, right? So the things that I can remember stuff from the 90s like that. Like sports things from the 90s, White Sox, Bulls, Bears, and stuff related. I can pull that up like that. But the things that happened like recently, we'd be like, man, did we win this like that? How did we lose that? And so I think the thing is really, like, if we say something, Dirk's run to the finals is a great one. I think the thing is, if we say something and we be like, no, that's not how that went. No, that's not how that went. Let's go watch it. Let's go see if that's how that went, man. Let's go see. Because here's the thing, man, you chop it up like this all the time anyway. So we want to do this with y'all, basically.
Might as well. LJ, I see your question. Would you let Kobe White? First of all, thanks for supporting the channel, and we really appreciate it. You've put this question up there a couple times, so the fact that you super chatted it, I was gonna get to you. I promise you I was, but I appreciate
y'all let Kobe White start some games and see how he does? I think the tough part with Kobe White is you can't let him start games now because Kobe's a 2. You know he's a 2. He's a really he passes the ball well. That don't make him a point guard. I would assume he's not a point guard. You know what I mean? Like they're 2s. Io's kind of playing. He fits the point guard role a little bit better. But if you know what Kobe White is, don't mess him up. Let him keep growing in that role. Let him keep getting more comfortable in that role. He's looking better in that role now, right? Like if you end up moving on from a major piece or something like that, then that's different. You know what I mean? Like, or if somebody goes down with injury, that's different. And Kobe White has to start and he can play the 2, but I wouldn't mess with Kobe because you know what? It spoke to, and I've said this a couple times on the show, it spoke to what the people around the league that I talked to and the players that have played in the league that I talked to said, you don't work on your game till the offseason. That's when you're working on you're always working on your game, right? You're always practicing and stuff like that. You're shooting around, but you don't focus on specific things until the offseason. Kobe White went into one offseason and said, I want to come back with a handle. It's the first offseason he's ever had. Kobe White is snatching mugs out here.
His handle is way better. Way better.
And his IQ is up.
Y'all see, ain't been cooking him this season because he looked better. He looked like he belonged. He looked confident on the floor. Yep. And now he can just hoop. The reverse lay he be hitting people with on a consistent basis when he get the opportunity, like it. Hey, I want more of it. The only bad thing about Kobe White at this point is now it's not even. It's only. I'm gonna tell you. I hate to say this because now I got to give him way too many props. Right? I've been cooking him this whole time. Got to give him way too many props. Kobe White has to play behind 2-3 people who essentially do what he do, and he's fighting with Ayo. He's playing behind Zach. If Zach's not at the 2 and playing the 3, he's playing behind DeMar because Billy has done that a couple times. I don't know if y'all notice it. Billy likes Ayo to start more, and rightfully so. Ayo came in ready to go. He looked more prepared. He was ready. It's just a very uphill battle for him. Yeah. And so I've changed my tone on him because I saw that he looked better and things of that nature. But now it's like, is he going to get the opportunity? And I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity. I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity to be the player that we think he can be here, just the way it looks. But I could be completely wrong. Like, I could be totally wrong. But he seems to be a person who has to have the ball in his hand, so he has to get consistent touches.
You want to know what I really want to see the Bulls do? Just a couple of games a year. Zach and DeMar, y'all rest. This is a rest game for y'all. Because you need to figure out what you got on this team. You need to figure out what you have in these young pieces on this team. And if they don't have nothing to lean back on, they got to perform. You need to figure out it like as much as right. I keep saying people is trash because I'm trying to get this man to turn his career around. And every time I call somebody trash, they seem like they can all of a sudden start playing basketball. When P. Will by himself, he can play. When he on the court with them other two, he look sometimes like he a little too timid to play.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if they just be like, all right, it's your turn to go off, and they just literally don't touch the ball, he can play. If he doesn't have an option, he can play. If that's the case, you need to figure out how much he can play. Y'all need to have a couple of games where y'all be like, all right, we just need to test this and see. Like, hey, Zach and DeMar, y'all off tonight, rest day.
Levante was like, Marco had 21 and 11.
Marco had 21 and 11 on what? Oh, that's what I'm saying. Marco had 21 and 11 tonight in the G League. Yeah. You know what though? Here's the one thing that I'll say, and it's not to say Marco has no place in the NBA, but that gap is bigger than y'all think.
Yeah, for sure.
That gap between the G League and the NBA is a lot bigger than y'all think.
I've hooped against some G League players not too long ago, to be honest with you, and I'm out of shape. I'm not anywhere near comfortable to say I can confidently cook any and everybody. And I held my own. I didn't get dogged. I wasn't the worst one on the court, and that says a lot when you get some people who, not the funny thing is G League players, they're legitimately playing the game and having to go work a 9 to 5.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them,
a lot of them, they don't get the coin to sit there and just solely invest in playing the game of basketball. But they are better athletes than the average person.
What's the minimum in the G League, right? What's the minimum? Is it 50,
I don't know what it is now, but I remember when it was like 30,000.
No, it's higher than that now.
I remember it was like 30,000, bro.
I want to say the minimum is like 50 or 60,000. I'm gonna be honest with you. Stop buying jewelry throughout the year. Yeah, I mean some of them are just blowing their money. Stop spending your money on stupid stuff, bro. You play basketball for 3 months a year and you make what people make in an entire year. You know what I mean? You don't get to live downtown. You live in the suburbs, my boy. You know what I mean?
So G League and salary increases for the 2022-2023 season. On average, they earn about 40K.
40K, you got to go to work.
Yeah, you got to go to work.
40K, you got to go to work. You got to have
some bonuses and stuff in there. But I mean, listen, 35K to just hoop. I mean, and you just do something on the side. That's not a bad life, if you ask me. Like it really ain't.
You got to be in some. You got to be in some stocks or something, bro. You got to have something that you just made. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, real talk. That's probably tough though, because you're trying to keep yourself right. I was gonna say streaming would be crazy, or having a podcast.
A lot of them do. A lot of them have. They're gamers.
But this is the thing,
and I'm not a big on Twitch because I don't really watch it, so I don't know what that looks like.
You can make a lot of money on them, but you're not gonna make the NBA if you gaming in your off season. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing, right? Like, do you just know that you're not going to the NBA, and so you're like, I'm gonna just ride out life in this G League and rack up as much as I can?
Nah, because a 10-day can change your life.
A 10-day can change your life, but
10-day can change your life, and you got to think about it. A lot of those G League players can go overseas because they're still considered professional players.
Relax. Raging said they got OnlyFans too. Who you following on OnlyFans is in the G League, my boy.
Unfortunately, it's some WNBA players that went that route, and I absolutely want to interview a lot of WNBA players because I hooped against this one. She played for what team was it? What's the WNBA team for Phoenix?
The Mercury.
She was one of their backup point guards and walked up to the court. I can't remember her name, but I know her face. I promise you I'm gonna have it on the next live. Walked up to the court, had her gear on, and the game looked so easy to her. Like she was hooping with the fellas, and but again, physically not there. Like they can't beat us physically, even the average guy. Like, but if you just keep it strictly basketball from a skill perspective,
yeah.
Oh man, she was definitely the best person on the floor. Definitely the best person on the floor. She could shoot. like shoot. And I was just like, wow. And when I was sitting there like talking to her, she was just like, yeah, I didn't realize how bad the WNBA was at the time. This is like 9 years ago. She was like, yeah, we have to go and play overseas and things like that just to get the reps up because we don't have the same opportunities as the NBA players. But she was saying it like it was an everyday conversation. She wasn't making it like a statement like, oh, we need to deserve more. She was like, that's just what it was. So I'm gonna go get this bread here, stuff like that. And that's just what it was for. But the point of the thing was, is like their salary was like 70 something. Like she was making like 70 something to play as a backup, but she still had to go overseas and stuff like that. So I think all in all, she was making like 200 bands from all these things she had to do just to stay in the game of basketball. And it was a decent life, but it definitely wasn't like we're talking about before Twitter took off the way it is now and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff we have now, she had no access to.
She was in the WNBA before it got subsidized.
Yeah, like she had none of those revenue streams there. And so
that was a different WNBA. That was just a bunch of muds they put in a basketball league.
She could hoop, and so
like play. Lisa Leslie could play.
No, see, and it's no disrespect to her or Candace Parker or anything like that. But them mugs is like 6'7", 6'8". Come on, dog. Come on, dog.
Is Lisa that tall?
Lisa Leslie is tall as heck, bro.
Bro, I think Candace Parker like 6'6", bro.
Candace Parker's D Wade size. All I'm saying is this.
That means she's 6'5".
They freakishly tall for women.
Candace Parker is 6'4", bro.
She freakishly tall for a woman.
She's a power forward, though, by the way.
Like, taller than both of us.
Yeah, she do. I'm looking at never mind.
6'5" or whatever.
Yeah, Lisa only 6'5". I was gonna say they tall, but they not that tall.
Man,
bro.
Maybe I only see them with heels. But all I'm saying is they up.
No, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's when you see, because here's the thing. It's some mugs that look huge and it's some mugs that look, but when you see them with people that are also similar size, your brain just translates it to like if it was you standing on the court. Because like I swear when I watch the NBA, I'd be like, yeah, that's a big dude. But I'm usually not like Zach LaVine is that much taller than me. DeMar DeRozan is that much taller. You know what I mean? When realistically, if I stand next to Zach LaVine, I am very short. I am 5 inches shorter than he is. Like that's crazy. Like if I stand next to him, I'm not at his shoulder. I'm probably a little at his shoulder.
By the way, Steve-O is saying, for anyone who just randomly sees this, he's saying that they are mad skilled and mad smart. Like, just in case people like he's calling women dumb. No, he's not. He's not.
That's Chicago lingo. If you dumb skilled, dumb smart, that means
you got to be from the city. But the funny thing is, I learned how to better do a pick and roll from her. I had played against NBA players and stuff like that. I learned how to do a better pick and roll with her on the court, outside, randomly, and she was just telling me how to better read it and what to wait for because I was like moving too fast on it, and no one else had ever told me that but her.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh, okay. And to this day, it still stuck with me. It's like I honestly feel like women like that not only have a place in like coaching staffs and stuff like that because they can teach from a different perspective and you receive it differently, but they really do need some support, and the NBA needs to make WNBA needs to make some changes because they can hoop.
Yeah,
hoop. It ain't LeBron hooping, but it's better than anybody you can see there.
Oh yeah, I think as trainers, WNBA players would be at like post career, like it's the reason that the game is getting better. They'd be outstanding. I like his comment said, be looking at Kobe on TV thinking I can slam him around. That man straight 9 inches taller than me. 15 if you include his hair. Bro, I swear, you look at Kobe White and you be like, yeah, he like 6'3". Kobe White is like 6'6".
The person who like tripped me out recently, and I'm like, I just didn't realize it. Rajon Rondo has the longest arms I've ever seen on a dude his size.
Yeah, bro. Rondo arms are like 6'10", ain't they?
That man has orangutan arms. Like he could literally scratch his knee standing straight up. Like that's crazy to me.
I'm telling you right now, if y'all have never experienced that, that's the wildest moment you'll ever see in your life. because it just messed with your brain that somebody has the ability to do that. Like, is your knee high or your arm low? Like it, bro. I watched somebody do that in real time, and Buddy didn't bend over and he scratched his knee and he kept going with conversation. And I was like, hey, hold on, homie. Man, did you just scratch your knee and not bend over? He was like, yeah. I was like, bro, that's not normal, dog. People don't do that, bro. You can't just stand there and just scratch your knee without, like, that don't make no sense. And fam, who was it? It was Giannis the other day, bro. Just seeing what some of these mugs can do, bro. Giannis the ball got knocked away. He got a steal. And the way that he secured his steal, he just grabbed the basketball like it was a tennis ball, bro. And the ball dented in from his hands. What is that? V-Dog said, Vern said, hey, what y'all think the Nets should do with Ben? Because Ramona said, oh, you took it away. I was reading it on the big screen. Ramona said Kyrie didn't even talk to KD about this decision. Everybody was caught off guard. And I said, listen, you want to know why I said don't make the Ben Simmons trade the entire time? You can't do nothing with Ben. You don't just get rid of $40 million. You don't. Everybody thought Russ is going to be traded for sure. Russ finna ride this contract out. He finna be a Laker till the end of this deal.
Side note, Raging, I played against Steve Kerr too. When I was super young, I was like 14, 15, I played against Steve Kerr. That man, talk about stroke that thing, cuz that man could shoot. That man could shoot. I know we about to wind this down. I'm getting tired too. Like at this point, I'm just letting you know. Also to answer V-Dog question, I think it's important. Hey, dog, I don't think I have to consult another grown man when you sit there and you give me stipulations on a contract that are improbable.
I think that if they were closer as a team, he would have.
No, he's literally called KD his best friend. Yeah. I think he got.
I heard that the other day.
Yeah, he's called him his best friend, and I can see it in their relationship. When something happens and it's just egregious, you just make a move. Pat's my best friend. If we're sitting here with this show, we're sitting there making, look at him get all emotional right there, little sensitive self, little light skill. I'll be sure guy. Anyway,
I mean, dang, we did. Well, we made it 2 hours.
Right? If we had an opportunity to do something big with this show, and then all of a sudden Pat was like, it wasn't right, and walked away from it, I'd probably just have to take his word for it.
Yeah,
because what else was he supposed to do? Like, seriously, like, leave the narrative aside. What was Kyrie supposed to do? He sat there 2 weeks ago, said he wanted to commit to him long term if they were willing to come to an agreement. He's worth the max.
You know what I would do? I'm gonna be honest to you. If I was Kyrie Irving, you know exactly what I would do. I would finish this out. Ray just stupid. Ray just said he didn't say it back. He keeping his options open. Ray just, hey, I would say this, Ray. You just don't know me. I just don't have that many friends. I don't have a lot of options. No, just playing. No, at this point, Kid is definitely my best friend because I talk to this mug more than I talk to most of my family. But
it's a guy thing. I wasn't expecting him to say it back.
I think the thing is with Kyrie, he being nicer than I am because I'd have played the season out. I wouldn't have said nothing. I'd have rolled that mug out, and I'd have looked at the Nets at the end of the year, and I'd have been like, "Good job getting absolutely nothing for a top 15 player in the NBA," and I'd have walked away. And you know what everybody would have said at the end of the year? The Brooklyn Nets are idiots. Kyrie Irving walked away, and you got nothing for him. Not like realistically, they're gonna get something back that's worth it. They're gonna get something back that's nice. They're gonna get, if they trade with the Lakers, you get a couple of picks. If you trade with the Bulls, you get DeMar DeRozan. If you trade with you're gonna get something back that's nice.
To be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with what he said or what he did. What I mean by that is,
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I would have been petty.
Yo, no, I get what you're saying, but like the narratives around, it's always something around Kyrie, stuff like that. The Nets made a decision. we're not going to extend you unless XYZ is met. That's the report. I'm saying this based off the report from credible sources. If that's true, and he says, I'm not with that, I would prefer to be moved, that just sounds like good business. Hey, this is your stipulation. This is what you require for me to get what I want. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's not only improbable, but I mean, like realistically, we know the Nets are going to be good. If they're going to be a championship team, they would have to move Ben Simmons, stuff like that. We don't know what they were going to do with those pieces. So he didn't say that's not for me. A grown man saying that's not for me, he ain't got to tell KD that. Hey, this is a conversation we had. This is what they were spitting at me. I told them no. Hey, dog, I'm going to tell you later. If it broke before, you know the Nets broke it. As soon as it happened, you know the Nets broke it. And so at the end of the day, the one thing that we'll never be able to know and we can't do is KD can sit there and call Kyrie right now. They can hash all that out. KD and Kyrie will be good because KD wouldn't stick around for that. None of you all would stick around for that.
Yeah.
The only way you can have security within your employment is if you can sit here and guarantee something that you can't guarantee. You wouldn't do that. So why you expect them to do it? Yeah. All this other stuff beside, you got to leave that out the window. We're at the table talking now. You can't do that. And then you leave me with Ben Simmons. Stop playing, bro.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'd have left. I'd have been like, I'm not gonna be here.
So I got to give. So my contract is dependent on KD potentially coming back, but you giving me Ben, who's sitting there complaining about phantom knee pain.
I will say this: does him coming back, is that the end of his deal, or is there a team option on there that he's trying to get out of?
He's already taken a player option. He's at the end of his player
option, so that's the end of his contract.
He's at the end of his contract.
Hey, I'd have left. I ain't gonna lie. I'd have been like, I'm not gonna be there. But hey, man, we said we was gonna stop at 1 hour and 30. We said we was gonna do this for 30 minutes. Hey, man, a 2-hour show. We ain't done one of these in a long time, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm going upstairs to drink at this point because.
Oh yeah, I'm going upstairs to watch BMF. Y'all know I just started watching it. I ain't watched it this whole time.
Hey, bro, I don't know. I'm trying to sit here, but I keep seeing these clips of BMF on the dig. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. They looking real Tubi-ish on some of these filming scenes, bro. I watched the man walk out of the room and walk back in the same scene from the other direction. What's going on there?
hey, man, listen. I'm 6 episodes in season 1. I actually dig it, but I'm also into like stories based off of true crime and stuff like that. So.
I want to see the they got a show where it's the story of Bumpy Johnson and Forrest Whitaker is playing Bumpy.
Oh, Godfather Harlem.
Bro, I gotta watch that, bro. I seen a couple of clips of that today. I was like, oh, I need to see this.
Yeah, I was riding with it till the Buster clip came up. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
I don't know what's going on there. All right. Hey, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Joined by the pettiest man alive. Felt like we did another 6 a.m. show, man, like we used to do back in the day. Hey, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're trying to get back over on playback. And if we do, or if we're trying to get everything going over on playback, if we do, these shows will probably be happening over there because y'all know YouTube hates this kind of content over here. So, tune in with us over on playback, man. Make sure y'all rocking with us over there. We appreciate everybody who tuned in and rocked with us over here. Hit that subscribe button.
Whoa, wait, Pat. Wait.
We gotta get out of here, bro.
Wait, no, we gonna get out of here. I promise you we get out of here. But I gotta ask you all this because 130 of you all in here. Was y'all really rocking with that morning show?
Wasn't nobody. The people that was up was rocking with it, but half these muzz was asleep.
I'm just saying, like,
apparently the nighttime show is the hit.
Able to do the morning show, like you see Sports Center do their show, because that's what we can do on playback. We could do a Sports Center style show on playback.
Yeah, we could. We definitely could.
If y'all rocking with that, we're gonna drop all the stuff in the community tab. We'll give y'all talk to us, join the Discord. It's gonna be a continuous conversation because we're trying to ramp up to get this all set in stone for a good off season. Because once the Bulls check out. I don't think we're going nowhere. It's all Bears content and speculation around the leagues at that point. So,
that. Hey man, we appreciate y'all for showing love as always, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Have yourselves a great weekend. We'll have more content coming y'all way soon. Peace.